What's up, Red Moon family? How y'all doing?
Yo,
Welcome
to
podcast number 3.
Wait, I almost said 4.
Yeah,
and we
you
knocking
should go
at your
back to
door.
school.
And we knocking at your door. Yo, we're excited to do this one, especially because it's our first
artist interview.
And we don't know how this is gonna go because like we're trying to figure out exactly how we want to do this. But we're still excited for it. You know what I mean? To chop it up and get to know all these artists.
And we're doing that guy. Look at this.
Look at this.
Mixed
Look at this.
Williams, bro. You didn't know I knew how to do an M and a
Double
W
gang
with my
signed
fingers,
up,
bro.
You know, I'm sizzling.
No, we're excited for this.
Yeah, man.
Mix
be cool.
is a dope person, and you know he's done a lot for us too. So we're
Dope
pumped
artist.
for him to be our first one. So
Yeah.
sit back.
We're gonna add him into our Discord call. You know what I mean? And hopefully this turns out good.
Sit back, grab your popcorn, and enjoy.
Yeah. What's cracking, bro? How was dinner?
What's going on? It was good. It
Yeah?
was good. Alicia made a pizza, yeah. So
I was gonna
Homemade
say pizza. We
pizza?
were trying to guess what you
Yeah,
had.
we're trying to guess what you had. I said you were gonna have
He said rice
caviar.
He said SpaghettiOs.
no, not tonight.
Not tonight. Caviar's a different night.
Well, you work in food, right?
Yeah, I'm a restaurant manager. Yeah.
Oh, that bad. Like where at? You might have told us, but I can't remember.
I work for Red Lobster.
Okay. Oh, I knew
So
that.
tried
So he
to-
could have got caviar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we don't sell caviar. Fuck no, we don't sell caviar. My food cost is already pretty bad, so I'm not gonna get fucking caviar.
Did they give you guys meals there?
Yeah, I get it's called a manager meal. I get a manager meal every shift, so I can.
You're like, I can't eat these biscuits anymore.
No. It's crazy, bro, because like when you work around food so much, it's like you don't eat to enjoy what you're eating. You eat for sustenance.
Right.
Yeah, you're like, I have to have
fuel.
some.
It's like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You know.
It's literally like, oh, like can you like you're moving crazy, like, yo, can you just throw an extra piece of salmon on just for me?
Yeah. I gotta eat and go.
And then you just like literally you're moving, and I'm just like
Right.
salmon is just like moving.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we knew. We talked about this a lot. We knew that we're like, hey, we'll get along with Mix if he works a lot, living in that corporate world. Like, bro, we know how that is.
Yeah, it is it's an experience.
Right.
It's definitely an experience.
For sure.
So yeah, man, how's life, bro?
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. Working a lot. I'm tired, but
You still
I'm
doing like
learning
50
to,
plus?
Yeah, just about.
Okay.
About. We come into the summer. We do a little bit less. It's like 45. It's still a full week, but
Right.
you feel that extra 5 hours. Like you definitely feel it.
Yeah.
Are you salary?
Yeah. So no matter if I'm working, if I get a slow week and I'm working 40 hours, or if I get a crazy busy week and I'm working 55, I get paid exactly the same. So
Yeah.
And let me guess, you get more of the 55-hour weeks than you do the 40.
yeah.
That's how they.
100%.
That's how they.
I know.
get you,
I've
bro.
worked it several times, a salary job a couple of times, and it's something different.
Did
Yeah,
you
it's
guys?
a lot.
Is it way different after COVID? Because I know, like, man, it was hard for me to find staff and anything quality.
Yeah, it's I don't think that it's changed specifically the food industry, but I think it's like the
In
service
general.
industry. But I think people just as a whole have changed.
Yeah.
And they value themselves way more, which
Yep.
is like which is important. But it makes it difficult for people in leadership positions because we kind of have to walk on eggshells a little bit more when
Right.
we speak to people, and when we hire people, you kind of the bar is almost lower.
Yeah.
Like, just because people are doing not the bare minimum, but no one goes that extra mile. They don't feel the need to.
Not
Right.
anymore. I think it.
That quiet quitting.
Yeah. Well, I think it is like people are just realize like they're like if they don't like something, they're just gonna be
They're
like,
like-
nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, it's already we spent 3 weeks training you, getting you here, and I have to do this all over again. So I just think that, and again, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people just don't have that.
It's just different. You got to learn how to move in it, maneuver in it,
Yeah.
and you
It's
got to
totally
work those extra hours too, because you guys got babies coming soon, right?
I hope not.
Yeah. I don't know. What was it? No, you said something about you guys joking about it more and more.
Yeah,
I think
that's
I
how
saw
it
a
starts.
post or something.
It's one of those things like So I've been with Alicia since we were. So we'll say I had just turned 17 when we started dating.
Okay.
How old are you now?
I'm 27.
Oh, bad.
So so we're coming up on 10 years.
Yeah.
Nice.
Congrats.
I'm turning 27.
That's rare. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a very lucky dude, and I don't take it for granted. So I try we joke back and forth. Like we moved out of our parents' homes last year, and we've been living alone for about a year and some change.
Right.
And but we've been together for so long, and we've had like trips together and all these different kinds of things.
Right.
And
Yeah.
just before COVID, we were gonna move out, and we were gonna get a house and stuff like that because the house market wasn't insane.
Right.
And then COVID happened.
Now it's
changed
insane.
the whole entire
Bro,
changed
I know.
It's bad.
the whole market. It's
It's impossible.
I'm sure up by because you guys are
We up in
Seattle,
Washington.
Florida,
Yeah.
right?
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So like it's kind of the same like the two. So like Northeast, it's impossible, bro.
Right.
Like my parents' house
It's impossible. You got to be damn
my
near
parents'
rich.
house, yeah, like my parents' house is a piece of crap, you know, and they could sell it for $500,000,
Right.
Which is crazy to me.
$500,000 home, you know what I mean, before all this, like, would have been a
Nice.
mansion,
Beautiful.
bro.
Yeah.
Exactly.
beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Now you
frustrating.
sharing a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and like half a
Dude,
million
places in
dollars.
Seattle rents like $2,500 for like a 2-bedroom.
Yeah. Not even 2 bedroom.
Not even
Studio.
sometimes. Yeah.
No, we're in a duplex now, and we pay like I don't know, like $2,600 a month or something like that for it's a 2-bedroom, and it's like I said, it's a duplex, so it's nice. And I'm very grateful to live here, but it is quite expensive.
Right.
It's high.
Where are you at again? Where you living?
I live in Pine Brook now, in New Jersey.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Bet.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey.
Still doing it.
We were working.
Yo, let's jump into this, bro. Like, I know this is our first one with the artist, so we're excited about it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, this is one of the things we wanted to do for a minute. Just chop it up with you guys a little bit more and like get to know you guys. Especially because like as we've done this, we've like run into so many cool people.
100%.
And so like
yeah.
this is kind of like shooting from the hip right now, as we learn like exactly how we want to like incorporate all this like podcast with artists, and so usually on our, I don't know if you had a chance to watch any of our podcasts, but we spend some time in like anime, nerdcore, gaming, technology, things like that. So we figure we do like kind of like a hybrid, you know what I mean, where it's like interview, because most people that are going to be coming to listen to these is going to be wanting to hear from you. And so it kind of be like a, chop it up. I know you said something about like, yo, I want to be on a podcast because, I just want to be able to talk. I enjoy talking. So I figured that might be a cool way to do it.
You got time.
You know what I'm saying? Just kind of like talking about, the interests around, what we're doing, like as far as like being entertainers and things like that. And then just like interviewing you guys. And so that's kind of the goal for it. But
And joke around, have fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
so I think we should start off just getting into who you are, man.
Yeah. Where are you from? Your family? You have siblings? Like your life of growing up? I think
How it is to be light skinned, you know what I mean? Like all that.
You guys deal with that. We guys know how it is. It's I think so. I mean, I grew up in Clifton, New Jersey, so that's where I'm from. I was born in New York, but I'm from Clifton. I'm not from New York.
All right.
So I grew up there. I have 2 younger sisters, so I'm the oldest. My
How old are
dad,
your younger sisters?
Chloe's 23, and the other one's 20. Ollie, she's 20.
Okay. They're in your 20s. You're all in your 20s.
Yeah, so we're all. So I'm 3 years, 3 months older than Chloe, and Chloe's 3 years, 3 months older than Zoe.
Wow, that's planned.
So,
Yeah.
So that 100%. My mom is. Yeah. So we ended up getting this tattoo right there.
Oh, fire.
Right there, so you can kind of see. So like I'm trying to get it. I'm the firstborn.
Okay.
And then my other 2 sisters have the other ones filled in.
Nice.
That's funny.
So
That's kind of like the one we
there's
got.
Oh yeah, what you guys got?
We all got this.
Yeah.
And it has our birth years on it too.
Word. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I
Not to
like
one
that.
up your
I like
tattoo.
that
You know how
concept.
some people are just like,
I mean,
oh,
yeah,
you got a
it's
tattoo?
not, bro.
Yeah, it ain't as big as like.
It's not. This is not. I'm gonna get some more. I want to turn this into a sleeve at some point.
They're
but,
addicting.
Yes.
But yeah, I have. So my dad is a black dude from New York, and my mom is a white lady from Australia. So
Sounds like
that is
wow,
my. That's my. It's kind of where my name comes from, because people used to always say, "Oh, like that's such a cool mix."
Yeah.
And so that was where my name came from. So
Nice.
my government name is Sam, so sometimes I'll say in songs like, don't fuck with Sam. Like,
Yeah.
That's me.
And your parents are still together, or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
they've been. I mean, creeping up on 30 years, if not
Oh, damn.
already hit it. I don't
That's
think it's,
awesome.
just about there. Yeah.
Okay.
but yeah, that's pretty much me, man. I grew up in a nice enough town,
Yeah.
but I spent a lot of time in not so nice towns, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Right,
no,
right,
that
right.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That's me, man.
That's fire. That's fire. No, no, we understand. I mean, we grew up in Vegas. You know, it was hot out there, but it was a different climate. You know, saying like that we spent a lot of time in not so good neighborhoods because it's where we were. But then we moved up here, and it was different because it wasn't like because I moved up here. I was like 15.
Yeah. Definitely probably saved us from moving up to here to Washington for
Yeah.
sure.
And it was definitely nicer neighborhoods up here and stuff like that. So it was a different like experience,
Atmosphere.
you know. But you know, you learn a lot. You learn a lot, you know.
Yeah, man. And, I mean, I think one thing I wanted to know is kind of like what a day kind of looks like for you. Kind of just like with no music. Like, what do you do for fun, man? Like, you know, play sports, work out. Like, what's just a boring day, no music? Because we know music and work's probably your life. But beyond that, you know what I mean? That's kind of one thing I was really interested in.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have so my work schedule ends up being monthly. So a lot of the times I'll base like, you know, I'll look at my schedule for the month and go, okay, I can do this on this day.
Right.
This on this day, so on and so forth. And then it kind of shrinks. So like I schedule things for specific days, but then each week kind of shrinks to just a week. So I look at, okay, you know, I have off on, like I had off today. So I I knew I had off today. So I scheduled, because me and Alicia are getting married in 2 months. So,
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So we went to go and see the venue again and kind of just dot some I's and stuff like that before the last.
Another reason to be working those 50+ hours, man, if it's anything like my wedding, bro.
Trust me, dude.
Jesus.
A lot of people.
You just be smiling, shaking your head like, oh, it's going to be that much? Oh, I didn't realize. Because dudes, like, it's not like we've been dreaming about our holidays. We don't know how much the food's going to cost and all that.
Be like, yeah, just throw some bones down. We'd be good. And it's just like, oh, okay. It's
like,
want a whole
everybody's
skeleton.
having burgers. We're having
Yeah,
burgers.
exactly.
And they're like, no,
No
you're actually
fries.
having the entire cow.
Yeah.
And we're gonna slice it up.
Yep,
like,
the
like,
finest.
Yeah,
You're just seeing dollar signs.
It's definitely an interesting, interesting.
But
dynamic,
anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, like, you know, we went and we did that, and I think a lot of the times what ends up happening is if she's working, then I'll end up, you know, doing errands. You know, sometimes she'll leave like a to-do list because I'm pretty bad at organization, so she'll like write a to-do list and be like, hey, these are the things you have to do before you can do whatever you can do. That's
These
not
are your
cool, no
chores.
problem.
It's
So
easier
I
that way
go
for
and-
me.
Practicing that
100%.
husband work.
Tell me what to
literally
do.
is,
I'll just do it. I don't care.
That's I literally say that exact thing all the time. Like, I'm like, hey,
Right.
tell me what you want me to do today. and
I can
I'll
knock
do it,
that
and
out.
I can get all my stuff done.
Yep.
So a lot of the times, like, if you know, I'm a huge soccer fan, so I play a game called Football Manager a lot, which is a boring ass simulation game where you are the manager of a soccer team and your focus is the tactics. Like, you're the coach, so you
Yeah,
don't,
yeah.
it's not like FIFA where like you go out and you play with
Right.
the players and shit.
You're
You
building like
literally
plans
give
and stuff,
them-
plays and stuff.
Yeah, you
Nice.
give
Oh,
them
that
like
sounds
the
interesting, though.
instructions, and then you just kind of watch the game happen, and you know, kind of just hope that things go well, because that's basically what
That's kinda
being a
cool.
soccer
Yeah.
coach is. So that's if I'm doing nothing, you know what I mean?
Okay.
A lot of the times I end up, you know, looking for beats and all those kinds of things.
Right. Always turns into music. I know it's hard, like when you're an entertainer, to like turn that side off. You know, you're always thinking about the next step. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
your brain's
sometimes-
always on.
Yeah, so sometimes like playing
100%.
games like that too is also helping too. Like, you like can relax a little bit and just like, oh, let me just do this and still kind of be creative in what I'm doing and stuff like that. So
I used to bring my laptop to the studio, and I used to play FM like at the studio.
Oh,
So,
nice.
We'd literally have these, like, because I was in a rap group when I was a kid, and it's 6 of us. So it
What was
wasn't,
the name of the rap group?
It was called Legacy Entertainment.
Did you guys ever dress up all in the same color and do
Oh.
shows like that?
No,
No.
we did like big show. We were pretty big in my town. So like
Alright.
that was, I think I went through my ego phase. Like, I mean, everybody's got an ego, but I was like,
Facts.
my ego was like surpassed my skill level in high school. So when
gotcha, yeah.
eventually I got humbled
like,
because
yeah, exactly.
we left high school and all that support went away.
Right.
But I kept getting better. So now it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
And
Get out of high school,
So-
going to college, you know, performances.
So, yeah, it was it was interesting, but I think I learned a lot. But I used to bring my laptop all the time, and I would just be in the back, like in the corner. We'd throw a beat on, and we're all writing. I have my phone now, so I'm writing on my phone, but I'm also playing FM.
Getting it
Help
in,
me,
getting it.
help me stay focused.
Yeah.
It's very weird. It's very weird.
That's awesome.
Well, I know this can segue right into nerdcore because that's the main thing we were gonna probably spend most of our time on. But I see it says on your wall on the back that you write most Disney songs. So I gotta
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
you're his ghostwriter.
Yeah, I mean,
I always knew.
He doesn't like to talk about it. He doesn't like to talk about it, but
Yeah, I bet.
He does. I mean, I told him I'd do it for him.
You help him out,
Yeah, my because he's so busy.
I thought you were the son. That's how people be saying it.
No, I mean that's just the front we put up because it's easy. Because it's easy for
To
tax
boost his
purposes.
numbers.
And nobody would question the ghostwriting.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, well, they're in the same. They're from the same. That makes sense. That's okay. I mean, we'll just let that rock. Like if Drake's kid was writing for him, nobody would care.
Nobody would say a thing because that's still him.
Yeah. But I don't think I've honestly ever written. I don't think I've ever written anything for Disney. Like, Disney's always had, like we've written songs together, like we've sat in Discord and stuff like that and written them together. Because I hate, not gonna say I hate because I do it, but like sometimes people will send like an open and be like, hey, just record, and I'm like, I don't like it's fine, like we're doing it, but you don't get that feeling of like making a song.
Yeah,
so
right.
The sitting down,
yeah,
writing the hook, writing that type of stuff, that collaboration thing. Yeah, we can see where that would be the dopest thing to do.
How
we have people that are all over the world. Like we work with, like if I work with somebody from England or whatever, I can't necessarily sit in the booth with them. So we'll sit on Discord and we'll sit in a Google Drive document together, and we'll have the beat playing in Discord, and then you just kind of work on that collaboratively. So Dizzy and I have done that a couple of times, even though sometimes our songs are like his hook, a verse, his hook, and then my verse, and then his hook. Sometimes it feels like it can be just like, oh, Dizzy wrote his part and then sent it to Mix, and then Mix wrote his part and then sent it back. That doesn't happen very often for me and Dizzy.
Yeah, you guys are collaborating for real.
And now you said you haven't written anything for Dizzy. How much does that happen, you think, in Nerdcore? Like, are you writing for other people or?
So I don't think there's a lot of ghostwriters in Nerdcore. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think there's a lot of people who. I think there's some people who have, like, it's a collaborative effort and it doesn't always get mentioned. Like,
right.
There's got to be times where, just like for instance, if I don't know, like if someone who's not used to doing singing hooks wants to do a singy hook, they might have a singer,
or probably like the voice actors when they're
they,
like rushes be pulling like voice actors and stuff.
Exactly. So I don't think that there's any.
I wasn't sure if you ran into like
sitting down writing songs.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. There's no. Yeah. That makes sense. Who are your influences when you started getting into music? Like, what type of music was getting you started into music? I mean, a lot of times we get a lot of our music's inspiration from our parents, like stuff that they used to grow up listening to, and then like gets us into music, and then,
Yeah, it kind of splinters off.
Yeah.
I think around like I had this conversation a million times. I think like it, my dad is. So I grew up listening to whatever's in your parents' car, just like you said. So like when I was growing up, it was. When I was 6, it was 2003. People were still using CDs in cars. So like my dad had a 5 CD changer, and the 5 CDs would always change. And you would get used to, like, you would find the CD that you liked the most, and you would like switch to that one.
Yeah.
And I remember like track 2. So track 2 was "Yeah" by Usher, and then track 3 was "Shake It Off" by Mariah Carey, and track 4 was an Eminem
got that
song.
mixtape.
It was all over, bro. Track 4, I think. Track 4 was Real Slim Shady. Then track 5 was Mockingbird. So it was like all these different.
Yeah.
It was kind of it's all hip hop, I guess. But there's poppy stuff. There was like, there was Biggie songs down the bottom of the track, whatever. So that was my favorite CD. And eventually, I like stole it. I asked from. I asked my dad for a computer. Yeah. I asked my dad for a computer in my room, and then I like burned all the CDs to my computer. So then like that playlist would just run. So my dad was really into like Marvin Gaye, Eric Clapton, like all these like
Eric Clapton,
older kind of jazz, like these jazz style artists. And then he had some hip hop songs, but he didn't love gangster rap, because he grew up in the projects in New York, so like it would that had a bad connotation to it, gangster rap. So
I'm sure trying to get you guys away from that lifestyle too, as much as possible. Trying to get away from it.
Because he could see it, like he knew what it was. So he was like, hey, like, you know, you guys can listen to, you know, whatever. So my dad has a really, really large music palette. Like he likes country music. There's like rock songs. So I like most music. I don't love country music, but I can tell you what's a good country song. And I love rock music. I love modern hip hop. I love older hip hop. But when I first started making music, it was because I was on. So I wanted to be a DJ, but like all my friends wanted to be a DJ.
DJ Mix, DJ Mix.
Exactly, bro. It's literally exactly what it was. And then if I started to get very expensive, like all the equipment for DJing and stuff when you're 12 is like
not happening.
Allowance doesn't help that a lot.
Unless you got rich parents. Right, so rapping was, you know, I had a headset and a laptop and you know, a pen and a pad, and so I just kind of started writing essentially just poems to music. Then I met one of my best friends, Steven Xavier, and we played baseball together, and we were on the same baseball team, and I could beatbox a little bit back then. Can't do it now. Like you kind of do like the little baby beatbox that everybody does.
Everybody does.
Boom, boom, clack.
Boots and
cats. Yes.
But he was like really good, like really, really, really good for a 12, 13-year-old.
Yeah.
And so I would like beatbox and practice, and he would freestyle over it, and I thought it was like the coolest shit in the world. And I was like, oh, he's only like 6 months older than me. I could do this shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so I went home and I wrote a song, and I sent it to Steven, and then we weren't that close back then. So he was like, in nicer words, he was like,
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Like,
you know it.
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea where it is.
It's gone.
It's probably on Facebook somewhere, like on some old Facebook page.
If we were good interviewers, we would have found that joint.
If we were Narwhal.
Like, well, we
Narwhal,
we got to play.
Oh my god, dude! I sound so. I've heard like videos of me talking and stuff. Like my fiance found. I like posted on her wall in like 2010 or something like that, and she found it and she like recorded it, sent it to me. And it's like my voice, I can't even.
Way different.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy.
Because you were, how old did you say you were then?
Say 10 years ago. That's 30.
Yeah, so it would have been 14 years ago. So I would have been like 12, 13.
Yeah. That's that baby. That's the voice where like you start cracking a little
bit. You gotta wait for that bass to come in, you know.
Yeah, now I have this like beautiful sultry voice now.
You're like, I had to grow into that.
Well, it does take time, and you have to practice at it too, like on top of just your voice changing, you know. Like I think that's one big thing that kind of made us like such a big fan of your music. Like your voice like kind of really pierces through, and I don't know, it just yeah, I don't know. It just I like the way that like I don't know, man. It just I'm spacing now.
No,
but like it's like I don't know.
I know what you're saying. One of the big things is like the clarity. Like that's a lot of things is a lot of times people struggle with enunciation, like the clarity of their words and stuff, and like you're very smooth with that, like, and that's not necessarily an easy thing for people to get a hold on, especially, you know, if you especially look back at the beginning of your raps and stuff. A lot of times it's just like fumbling words together and stuff like that. So like I think that's what we really like is the clarity.
That's what I was gonna say. It kind of complements
of your voice. It sounds like
other artists and like the beat and stuff like that.
Yeah, that I've said it 1,000 times. Like, yeah, I got a couple bars here and there, but like the main thing I've coasted off of for the last however long, 13, 14 years I've been rapping is my voice and my delivery and being able, just sounding confident. Because a lot of the times, the issue that people run into, you can be a great writer, you could have the best bars in the world, whatever it is, but if you don't sound like you mean what you say, like, I mean, I'm not a mass murderer, but I can sound like one. So,
I can convince myself. I can act myself in that way of doing that.
Exactly. I mean, you look at like if you watch like battle rap and stuff like that, like those dudes sound in everything they say sounds like it could be a jab, like every single thing that they say, and that's what makes those like battles so compelling. You know, I'm not like a huge battle rap fan. Like I don't go to stuff, but like the people who do, they go, hey, like you have to listen to what they're saying and you have to analyze it because everything they say,
everything connects. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Double
battle rap
entendre,
is crazy, and it's the conviction, like you said. Like, you know, the popping out with like a bazooka.
aggression.
Nobody's gonna pop out with a bazooka, but you believe at that moment in time they might, you know.
Like, yo, what if he did?
What if he
If he
did?
did though,
Yeah, where did he
That's
keep
literally-
it the
I mean,
whole
that's
time?
Literally, it's literally like it is. I've said it a gajillion times. Like rap is literally just dad jokes. So like some of the it's like the rappers that I've met, like the best rappers that I've met are the corniest motherfuckers.
the
in world.
punchlines,
Like,
you know, you like
That's how you come.
you
up
got
with
like
your
Ludacris, who was like huge because like he was punchlining. Like most of the big
comedy
rappers that you
punchlines,
hear,
yeah.
you know, or that just shoot off is if you can do something funny and make it into a punchline, you can go a long way with that.
Yeah, bro. That was Lil Wayne's the whole thing.
Lil
I mean,
Wayne?
like
100%.
this shit gonna catch up to you. Call that tissue paper.
Yeah.
That's not.
That's
That's
that
not
dude.
Cool. That's super corny, bro. It's
Yeah,
super
yeah.
corny, but he made it sound awesome, and everyone's like, "Yo,
Right.
no way!"
It's that
And, like
that
it's
conviction,
It's
yeah.
all about your voice and delivery, and that takes more practice. You know, it takes more practice to perfect that than writing like bars. I know a lot of people that can write bars, and a lot of people who have never made songs that could write bars, that could come up with bars that, you know, but they don't sound like rappers.
Well,
And there's a lot of people who will struggle to get out because of that, and some people are just born with
The
voices
ability
that
to do
sound
that.
awesome, and some people just aren't, you know.
Well, when we talk about too, like just pleasing to the ear, that's why cadence and stuff like that is so huge. So a lot of people can be good at rapping. Like they can rap, they can have that natural skill of rapping, but the ability to switch cadences up to add different flavor, like that's what people gravitate to, especially nowadays because people are understanding melodic, you know, sounds more
and singing.
and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, having the ability to sing or at least carry a tune, you know, and understanding that it just makes it more refreshing for people to hear. Like, cause I mean, we grew up listening to like Nas and stuff like that. Nas is a dope rapper. Like he can rap, but
you gotta be
his
able to do it
cadences
all
aren't
these
crazy.
days.
Like his cadences aren't crazy or anything like that. So you go to him for like, if you want like your rap stuff, but most people gravitate to that,
to the vibe.
to the vibe
the
more.
sound.
I think that's what I think.
There's a lot of people that don't analyze music. They don't listen to music to analyze it. They listen to music just to vibe, or they listen to music for, you know, a specific feeling or whatever. So they're not listening to it. I think humans are so conditioned to like think that everybody thinks the same way they think, right? So they go, hey, well, I listen to hip hop because I like bars. And it's like, all right, that's cool, but she listens to music because she wants to dance.
They don't even care
He
about a
listens
bar.
No, and they don't even care who the artist is. They don't care what they're talking about.
They singing lyrics. They
If
don't
it
even
don't
know what the
feel
lyrics
good,
mean.
Exactly,
You know,
bro.
they be like,
You remember that song? Oh my God. All the other kids with the punk
Yes.
kicks. That song's about a school shooting.
exactly.
Yep.
I heard
everyone's
that,
"Oh,
and
this
I'm
song
like,
is so happy. Oh, I
Yeah.
love this song. And they're playing
Yep.
it at fucking weddings and shit. It's like, yo, like,
Do you know what that's
there's kids
saying right
here.
there?
Like, what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
it is funny
So
how we just don't do that. Yeah.
No, it's everybody listens to music. Some people listen to music because they only listen to music when they're sad, and they do it because they want to feel sad and they want to get all those feelings out
Right,
of
right.
music. Some people only listen when they're happy. Some people can't function without music at all. Some people sit down and analyze every single bar, and they want to do Rap Genius.
Right.
You know, like, and I think,
The more you can
Again,
find a way to
because-
pull it all in.
yeah, if you can dip your toe in every single kind of, you know, be able to get yourself in all those different positions. Like I have to work on my hook writing. That's always been a weak point of mine. So it's good to be aware of what you need to work on,
Yeah.
and try and get better at it.
Well, I feel like
it's because go ahead.
no, just real quick, I was gonna say like every single hook, like I don't know if it's just like you guys work together a lot because of that, like you and Dizzy, but like I feel like every single hook that you guys make is fire.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it's
his hook game is like
Insane.
yeah. So
Like,
you guys
when
can
I
compliment each
tell
other there.
you, yeah, he like, I'll be like, hey, he'll say, yo, do you want to be on? You know, people don't realize how quick these things come together. Like a lot of fans, like they'll look at it and they'll be like, oh, like, because I watched a reaction of the Fable thing. I don't remember who it was. Of the Fable song with me and
The
Dizzy
new
on it,
the
just
new
died.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, Die Free.
Fire.
Which was
Fire song.
Thank you very much.
Fire.
It was. I was.
Bro, that singing,
so
that's what I was gonna say about the singing on that one. Bro,
I
was
hit those notes.
yo.
You did.
I was proud of myself.
We went back and like,
dang.
okay, all right, mix.
Yeah, man. I hit
Fable
those,
bring it
bro.
out of you, man.
Dude, when I tell you, so again, like how quick these things go. Like I was supposed to be. So Fable asked me to be on a song a long time ago. I think it was a Kakashi song or something like that. and I could only get to the studio. I was still living back in my parents' crib, and I couldn't really record back then because I had a basement, and I lived in the basement kind of, and the cement walls made it weird for sound.
Yeah.
And so I recorded my verse. I thought it was cool. I sent him my best take, sent it to him, felt good about it. And I think he listened through the phone maybe or something like that. And he was like, all right, it sounds good. Like, I'll check when I get home. He gets home and he's like, I'm not really feeling it too much. And I couldn't get back to the studio. So he ended up having Dizzy on the song, which is cool. There was no hard feelings.
Right.
I just couldn't get back to the studio. But like a good example of how quick the turnaround is that Fable hit me up at like 1 a.m. on, I think, so it would have been the Thursday night, so into the Friday morning. So Friday morning, 1 a.m., he hits me up. I'm literally getting ready to go to bed. I got work at 9 a.m. And he calls me. He's like, yo, you want to get on this song? And I said, yeah, of course. Like, when you need it by. He was like, you get it to me by Saturday. I was like, so tomorrow?
Like, oh, you mean next Saturday?
Yeah, like that's what I was thinking. I was like, you don't mean tomorrow? He's like, fuck, it is Friday. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, can you get it to me?
Got to be ready to
no
get up and
deal.
go.
And I was like, yeah, I got you, dude. Bang, hang up the phone. I got up, put some clothes on, came in here, sat down, wrote the verse, and then recorded it the next night, so Friday night, and then sent it to him like early Saturday morning. And so, and luckily the take that I sent him was the take that we used, which is cool. But I watched some reaction, and the guy was like, oh, the movie only came out like 2 weeks ago. Like Fable must have had this in his brain like as soon as he walked out. I was like, no, dog. Like
it's
this
just
was literally
hustling.
like, yeah, bro. Like we thought of the song a week before the song came out, and it came out, and that was
welcome to having a mind that never shuts off.
Dude, the Nerdcore dudes are insane.
Well, we knew that
to work ethic, bro.
When we knew that when we came into it, like just because. Really, at that time, so 2 years ago now, like they were releasing people releasing songs like every week
and quality,
and so
mixing
your mind has to think that way. But I do think like now, and you can tell that now, like Fables went further, like 2 to 3 weeks or 3 weeks or so before he released that. Same thing with DPS and stuff like that. And you can see when you give them time, it's even crazier the quality that they can put in, and that their mindset is. Do the song, send the song to the person doing the edits, you know what I'm saying, and then get back. It's like they're go. Like, it's crazy. And we say this all the time.
Nobody's doing that.
Nobody's doing that. People are spending a year to write a 12-track album.
Yeah.
Like.
Or more. Yeah. Well, you'll get there.
It'll come out someday, right?
Dude, it is. I said it when like I started working with Dizzy, started getting closer, and we were playing games and stuff together, and he was getting me on songs, and the speed, like Game Boy is is like the ideal example where I've gotten very close with Game Boy over the last year or two. The first ever Nerdcore song I ever did was with Game Boy, actually.
Oh, that's
people
awesome.
think it was Dizzy, but it wasn't. But like Dizzy will send Game Boy will send like the roughest version, like
humming parts,
recording off the
mumbling.
phone, just got the cadence right. We don't have the lyrics yet, and he's like, all right, record with this, and I'm like,
you're like,
okay, yeah, all right, cool. I'll figure something out. And like, it kind of sounds like you're gonna say this, so let me. And so like the speed that they have to kind of work at is nuts, and working at like all hours of the night, and a lot of them still have jobs. Like the people up the top don't, but music is their their career, and they can live off of it.
But most people are trying to do it in less.
Yeah, they're doing both. Like, I mean, you think about someone like Delta D. Like Delta D's, he gets music out fast, and he works just as much as I do. So that's why I try not to use work as an excuse.
Right.
It might be my reason, but it's not an excuse. I could do it if I had a little bit more like. Zhuzh.
Yeah. A little more
well, I think that can actually lead into a lot of people were actually asking like. And a lot of people are curious, especially younger artists getting into it, how to manage that work-life balance. It's like obviously it's not easy to do all the time, but like, do you have ways you try to manage it, and then also like goals, you know what I mean, to get better at it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think everybody's different, and you got to kind of find what works for you. So what works for me is deadlines. Like if I have a deadline, I meet it like that. Even if I got to stay up all night the night before to get it. Like it's how I've always lived my life. Like, I used to get 75s in school because I never did my homework, but I used to get the essays in and participate in class and stuff like that. So
sounds like another musician mind.
Yeah, it's literally like I got to get home and I want to make music. I want to relax and I want to chill. And then,
but also not try to get in trouble.
Exactly. Literally, I'm just gonna. I knew I wasn't going to college. So I was kind of just like, all right, I'm just gonna kind of get through. But nowadays, it's again, I look at my schedule, and unfortunately, my life kind of revolves around my job at the moment.
Right.
But I'm starting to find a way to. The easy cop out is just to sacrifice sleep. Like, but you need it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily easy. It's just the only thing you can take away from.
DPS has told me a million times. He's like, bro, I used to live your life, man. I just
didn't sleep.
There's always a joke, bro. There's always a joke. Like any artist that ever gets advice from DPS in the flashback of the person telling the story, they'll be like, hey, I used to go 6-7 days without sleeping. I used to walk in the snow to work, and I used to write a verse on my way. And then I used to bring my mic and my booth with me, and I would work while I was rapping.
On the buses.
That's how it feels, bro. That's how it feels sometimes. Like
some people are just wired that way, though.
Bro, it's Cam's like that. Like Cam Steadies.
Yeah.
He'll go he'll be like, hey, just don't sleep, bro. I'm like, well, I need to.
I'm kind of like,
he's like, no, you don't. You just push through.
It's
Have
unnecessary.
some coffee.
yeah. I'm on my 6th cup today.
It's crazy. Exactly, and that's why he's like this. And I'm like, dude, it's fine.
Like, you need to sleep.
In his take.
He's
like,
that's why you get all the screaming and stuff like that. Just all of it.
Like,
look at us all out.
Is that the beat? Why is the kickoff?
Turn your game down, bro. I can hear your heartbeat, bro.
I know, that's crazy. It's like I've been up for 72 hours.
Well, dude, I think
it's nuts.
I think what happens too is there's like this balance of like obviously work-life balance where the time put in, but also like deciding, because there's a lot of people that just go, I'm gonna work, not get any sleep, I'm gonna sleep on people's couches, I'm gonna be broke, not push the career. But and then, dude, not many people make it in this industry, and so it's like how do you decide? You're like, because that's how we were. We had to kind of choose work. Work came before everything, because you're like, I got to get this, guaranteed dollar.
Yeah.
Versus us wanting to do these other things that are like revolve around entertainment.
I think it all depends on what you value in your life. So I'm a type 1 diabetic, so I need insurance. So
my wife is as well.
A job. There you go. So I mean, it's very, very important. I mean, I think diabetes is probably the type 1 diabetes is probably the most. I mean, look, there are worse diseases for sure. There are 100% worse diseases, but it's a very inconvenient disease where you kind of always have to think of what you're doing in the day, how much sleep you had, what you ate already.
You have to pay attention.
If you want to stay in shape, you got to pay attention to your blood sugar, all that kind of stuff.
100%.
So it becomes part of your process, and it's hard to like. So I wasn't diagnosed until I was almost 18. So I didn't have any symptoms until I was almost 18. Most people live type 1 diabetes like.
My wife was like 20-something, 21 or 22. She went out drinking with her brother, and she was incoherent. They didn't know what was happening. They took her in, and like it was like 600, and she had no idea. She had no idea.
Yeah, that is it. It shouldn't be that way. Like there shouldn't be. It's a very strange sensation. Like someone who's 17 to 24. It's been happening more and more over the years. But most people who are type 1 diabetic, they're born with it, and they don't show until like maybe 4 or 5, and then they deal with it their whole life. So they can kind of learn to live with it straight away.
Right.
Whereas I was a teenager and I was eating.
Got to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had to all of a sudden learn a whole new fucking thing. So, I prioritize, insurance.
Yeah.
And if I get to the point where I can switch and not have to worry about my employer giving me insurance and I can pay for it on my own, great. But that's kind of where
that's tough too, because that stuff adds up. That gets
it's an expensive disease. If you're paying out of pocket for stuff, I mean, luckily in New Jersey they just passed a bill, or at least legislation. I don't know if it's a bill or what it is, but they capped the copay for insulin at $35, so you can't pay more than $35 for a vial of insulin, which is really, really cool. Because when my dad was in between jobs once, so we didn't have insurance, and I needed insulin just to kind of make it through that period gap. And it was like, I don't know, like a vial of insulin was like $280 or something like that. And I was
it's
like
ridiculous.
19. Yeah. So like I don't want to ask my dad like, hey, can you help me out? But he was like, hey, you need it to live.
Yeah,
right?
you got to
Right,
survive.
yeah.
Like,
It's like, I got you.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a very inconvenient disease, but so that's kind of where, you know, again, my life revolves around work a little bit, and I fit music in where I can, and I want to be able to find some level of consistency, but I think for me, rather than a lack of time, is more just a lack of energy because I put my all into everything. So I end up, because I prioritize work, I put my all into work. I come home,
Right.
and sometimes I don't have the energy to get in the booth.
Burnout.
Yeah, so it's an excuse for sure. Like I'm definitely making excuses. I'm bad at it, but that's kind of um, where it comes from. If I had that, it like I haven't. I always say I haven't found that next gear. Like I'm almost there, but
The next
I
switch,
just
yeah.
can't flip. Yeah, I can't flip it. I don't know where it is yet. I have to
Yeah.
find it. Once I do, then it's kind of, you know, because I know I have the talent. I just kind of have to find the consistency.
Yeah, definitely have the talent.
What brought you over into nerdcore? Like, to start doing nerdcore music?
So I did in 2020 when everybody was stuck inside. I did a lot of um like phone video like freestyles and stuff like that, and Samad Savage did this contest because his song Good Night did really really well, and he did this like challenge like where he put the beat up and had people make their own remixes to it, and mine did pretty good. And then I did a song called Forgot My Lines, which was the first video that I worked with Nick Petrosky, who's the guy that does my videos now.
Oh, nice.
And he we went to a park and we shot it outside, and we were social distancing while we did it, and so on and so forth, and there was kids playing in the park behind, so I thought it was this like nice like uplifting kind of song. And there was a Twitter account called like, I think it was I think it's still up, as Team Dreamville, and they followed me and they retweeted that video, and then it went like mini viral, like, you know, 400 500 retweets, which for me at the time was like nuts because I didn't even have 1,000 followers, I don't think, at the time. And so then I posted another video of me just doing another phone video of me doing a verse, and that popped off a little bit. Dizzy found me because I did he had some like complete my song contest or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And and he liked the verse I had because he said I sounded like Kendrick in it. And
Nice.
and so he hit me up, and Game Boy ended up following me too, and we were like playing Call of Duty together a lot because
Nice.
we were all stuck inside. And Game Boy asked me to do a song with him, and he's like, hey, did you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender? And I was like, yeah, I love that show. And he's like, can we make a song about it? And I was like, it's a little bit strange to me because I was like, why would we do that? Right. And then he was like, look, it's about Zuko, and I'll send you like what I have so far. And he sent me his verse, and I was like, oh, it's not, it's about the character, but it's more like the feeling of being the character, or like the feeling that the character makes you feel. So I was like, look, I can do this because it's just fire bars. Like, I do fire bars all the time, you know. So let me go in with the idea of making more fire bars than normal, maybe, and trying to, you know, it had this like inspiring feel to the song. And so yeah, we did that, and I sent it over to him, and the song did pretty well. And then me and Dizzy did the War song, which was about Call of Duty, and I was like, that's just gun bars. I do gun bars all the time.
Right.
So I just did gun bars. Thought it was a pretty good verse. Song didn't do like amazing because it was a Call of Duty song and not like an anime song.
Wait,
But
that
y'all,
was
y'all re-released it though
was
in an
that
anime video. I remember that. Yeah.
that Call of Duty song. Dang, didn't we react?
Yeah,
to that?
You're talking about
War,
the Frasier
really.
one.
Oh no, that was a Frasier one. That one was
We ended
crazy.
up re-releasing. We ended up re-releasing it under, I don't even remember what anime it was. Cause
I'm trying to remember
I
what
still
anime it was
think it's a
either.
Call of Duty song.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know, that if the people at Call of Duty, because like Nerd Out got some like love from Call of Duty, and because there was a whole bunch of big heavy hitters on their Nerd Out on their Call of Duty song for Cold War. And so me and Dizzy, every time Call of Duty comes out every year, we always go like, hey, like, we gonna do War 2? Like, what are we gonna do? We always say it, and we never,
you never do it. It'll happen.
No, we should though. We should. And, especially now, Dizzy got a little bit more reach now, so I mean, it probably wouldn't get synced in anything, but I know like Nerd Out song was played at the like one of the pro COD events, which is
really?
pretty cool. I mean, it just shows how like you just kind of have to get on. Once you get that reach and you kind of get the push, you know, you can kind of get anywhere.
Yeah.
But that was my start to nerdcore.
That's dope.
And now that you're in it a little deeper, how are you usually thinking about, like, when you're coming into like writing a song? Is it usually like somebody hitting you up, or is it, because I know like you're struggling with like doing a ton of music, you know, but like, are you more so thinking about like what's popping at the time as far as like anime or gaming or whatever, or more what like kind of just resonates with you?
Well, just on like the base kind of SEO stuff, like, you know, people will, whatever, you know, if there's a new episode of something coming out, or, you know, there's a movie or something along those lines, people will just start making. I mean, the Spider-Man movie went crazy.
Right.
It was a great movie, and then everybody made Spider-Man songs. It's kind of, again, just based on, you know, the search engine and how algorithms work and stuff. Like, people will just type Spider-Man.
Right.
If there's a big video, like if Die For You was going crazy viral,
They don't
you
show
type
up.
Spider-Man, it'll be there somewhere. You know what I mean? So. Same thing with TikTok and the way that short form content is now. Like, you know, if you type hashtag Spider-Man, something is going to come up, you know, somewhere. So for me, I think people see my value kind of. I'm like the French Montana of nerdcore. Like, that's kind of, that's kind of my role.
Bring
Like,
him
people
in.
are
Bring him
like,
in.
We need a feature. We need a good feature right now. We just need a solid feature.
Yeah.
And because I can't write a second verse, I can't figure it out. So let me get somebody else to do it that'll get it back fast.
Right.
And they just hit me up, and I go, yeah, give me a couple days, and then it's back in their inbox.
That's dope. What are some of the favorite songs you've done right now in Nerdcore? What are some of your favorite verses that you've done?
I always love the one we did with DPS and McGuire on the set. That was like the first verse that people were like, oh, like he's like really good, like he sounds really cool, and that's where people started comparing me to Ty Wilde a little bit, because we both do the voice cracks and you know, the kind of swag. It sounds nonchalant, but yet there's still passion, kind of, you know, thing. So that's always good. I do like the war song. I do like the Call of Duty song. That's Alicia's favorite song. She knows that verse like she knows that whole song,
That's
like,
always the best feeling.
bar for bar.
Let's hear it. No, I'm just kidding.
I see, like, she's probably asleep already. But yeah, there's that one. I don't know, man. I like a lot of. I mean, it ends up being a lot of, like, Mask Off with Dizzy was pretty cool, because that was I wasn't even supposed to be on that song, and he was like, hey, you know, person I wanted on it can't get it. Can you get it back to me tomorrow? And I said, yeah, no problem. And I like sat down and just wrote it out and sent it back. He's like, perfect, you nailed it. So yeah, I think that, you know, it's awesome to be on a song with Fable. I love Fable's music so much, man.
Yeah,
Like,
that guy.
He like, when he reached out, he's like, I want to help you, because I want you to get to where you need to be at, and you deserve to be up here with us.
That's
so
fire.
Let's get you on, you know. So
Agreed.
That dude, he seems like a good dude.
he's a really genuine person, man. Like that's something that gets lost sometimes, because you only really see, you know, who they are on social media, because you don't know them as people. You
Exactly.
know? So you think like, oh yeah, I think he's a nice guy, but like, he's a dick. But he's not.
Yeah.
Ego,
He's a good dude.
Yeah, you just never know.
So that's I think I wouldn't send somebody a verse if I wasn't happy with it.
Right.
So and the way that I've written music my whole life has been like, you know, I'll write one bar and then I'll rehearse that bar and then see, because I need to know how I'm going into the next one. So a lot of people will just like, they won't write anything down. They'll just get in the DAW and then they just rap a verse, like they rap a bar and then they sit there and they think of something and then they go back in and they rap again.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I have to have the verse written before I can record it.
That makes sense.
That'll be better for you guys too, because man, Nerdcore is about to go crazy. You guys are about to be doing a bunch of shows. You got to know your verses.
Yeah,
You know?
I know Dizzy lives in Texas, and that's why we're going to DreamCon. I know, but I wanted to go to MPC like really bad.
That's a sour spot for us.
Yeah, we were trying to go to
Us
NPC,
too. Us
and then
too.
you know Jerry had a baby, which is cool. We got a little,
but bro,
NPC was happening.
I was like, really, you couldn't push him back further?
I'm saying,
what's going on?
he's already he's on restriction already.
He's already grounded.
Gate.
He's already grounded.
Yeah, we went to go to that bad.
I wanted to go, bro. I went NPC last year. I went to in Chicago. And,
Nice.
that was the first time I met DPS and Rustage and Schwabity and all those people, and it was fucking weird because like I was signing stuff, like I was signing autographs.
That's weird.
And, like, drawings of me. Like I'm like, yo, I'm not even like, you just like me because like features.
Yeah.
Like, oh, your favorite song is because I'm the feature on it. That's nuts.
That's
cool,
man.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. I had someone take a picture of like me and like a couple of other people, and they had like an old time like Polaroid kind of camera printed out right there. Took the picture, and then they had us all sign the back of the Polaroid, which is dope. People knew Alicia's name, which is like,
that's crazy.
She's like, I'm not
I'm not even in it.
just here. But yeah, man, it's a crazy dope community. Like it is there's a lot. Yeah, there's shitty people in every community, but there's like, you know, I'd say 99% of the people in the community just want cool music and cool things.
And honestly, the community is what kept us doing it. You know what I mean? Because like we kind of started with, we did a couple reactions, you know, just some of our favorite artists or whatever. Once we got a Nerdcore, man, just like people started hitting us up, the love people were showing. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and it was easy because you know, obviously we're huge anime video game fans, so it was like an easy, and we love music, so it was an easy transition to kind of get in it. And the shock of like some of the artists that we were hearing, it just
we're like,
we never heard.
How are these dudes not popping?
I remember hearing Dizzy's MIA, and I'm like, what? What is going on here? What's going on here? Yeah. So it's just like, and I was gonna say, for you, like, you've done a little bit more. I know that Game Boy has gotten really into like the releasing a video and then releasing a AMV with that, but you were doing that quite a bit too, and you've had some pretty dope actual just show. Do you come up with those concepts with your the person that directs it? Because you had the one where you're sitting on the train and the clown nose one. Like, you've had some pretty cool visuals.
Yeah, no, I've always kind of I mean, this is where the coming into Nerdcore with the AMVs was so like alien to me, because like for me it's always been, because especially pre-COVID, I was doing a lot of like underground Jersey shows, and like showing face is so important, right? So like you want people to recognize you, like they might not remember your name or something like that, but like especially you got some weird abstract name, but if you have a memorable name, you have a memorable set, and people can just remember your
recognize
face.
you.
Like, oh, I remember seeing him, you know, a couple of weeks ago at this show or whatever that I was at. And that's how you would kind of get your buzz in the Jersey circuit. So when I saw people were making AMVs and I didn't know what some people looked like I had no idea what their faces looked like. And it was so alien to me, and they're like, oh, like we can hear, you know, I don't know, Disney's voice anywhere. We know who that is. And I'm like, you don't even know what that person looks like. That's crazy to me.
Right.
But I think the time of full music videos is probably starting to come to an end, just because, at least for people who are trying to grow.
Right.
You know, it's almost, it's very similar to like the single EP album debate, where like, what would you rather drop, like a single or an album or whatever? I had like, so Steven Xavier is a perfect example. Steven Xavier is a better artist than me in almost every way. Okay, like, I mean, I think the one thing I got on him is the natural voice thing. That's it.
Right.
Like, he's had to work on his style for a very, very long time, and a lot of people don't know who he is, but he is a fantastic artist, and he's the one that engineers all my music, so his music always sounds very, very good.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's nice.
And he's a different style to me. He does more R&B stuff and whatever, but he's a great artist. And he worked, so he did, he dropped 3 projects. There was an EP and then 2 albums in 1 year, and he had singles in between. All of the singles did way better than every single song on all of those albums, and he treated those albums like they were his babies, and he was like, yo, like, once this drops, it's gonna, like, I can
people
feel
are gonna,
this is the thing. And nothing happened, and he got very, very, you know, disillusioned. He's like, what am I doing? Like, why did I just put 3-4 months of work into this thing? And
it's all about having something just pop off these days.
And I think the biggest thing, that the 2 biggest things that I ever learned from anybody who was successful was, A, don't focus so much on artists being your fans. You need to focus on fans being your fans. And then the second thing is it's 100%. And if fans want to start making music, that's cool, but they start off as fans. And the second thing is, people that are looking for, not everybody's looking to hear the next biggest thing. Not everybody's looking to hear the next big artist that they like. So if they see an artist for the very first time, a lot of the times they're just going to look at their most played song, or they're just going to go and look at the thing that they're viral about. They're not necessarily, they don't care that you just dropped the whole album. They're not going to listen to the whole thing.
Right.
They want to listen to the single off the album. So, you have to you drop singles to build a fan base, and you drop albums to feed a fan base. Right. So that's kind of the two, biggest forms of advice that I've gotten from music.
And music's just changed a lot in general. So I don't even remember back in the day, you get a CD, they'd sell the single, like you get a single and maybe the instrumental on the CD and stuff like that. You don't get that stuff anymore. And a lot of times it
don't act like we ain't old. They were tapes.
Okay. They were tapes. But like now they don't really follow that rhythm anymore, because we have access to music way more than we ever did. So you do kind of have to focus on what's popular, what's doing it, if you want to be known, because it's so easier to get into music now. So you got to make yourself step out more.
Right.
Yeah, the saturation, like when I first started making music, SoundCloud was brand new. So the plays that like me and like Legacy used to get on SoundCloud, we used to drop a song, and I'm not even playing, like we used to get 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 plays in the first 3-4 nights, and we were high school kids, and it was because I went to a big high school. But like it's because SoundCloud, as long as we tagged things properly, like people from Switzerland were coming over and listening to our stuff, because it was the only thing on SoundCloud at the time. Now SoundCloud is full of people who fart in the mic.
Exactly.
Kind of like it's
super oversaturated.
So saturated.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the same thing with music videos and visuals and things like that. Like you got to have good visuals, but short form content has taken over.
Right,
so people are using TikTok and using Instagram Reels and stuff as their music videos. And then when the song pops off, because those clips go viral.
Yeah.
And then when the song pops off, they drop the real music video.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
that makes sense.
Some people will shoot the short form content with the camera that they would have shot the music video with, but just shoot a minute long clip.
Right.
And
It's
then
all
that
about
clip goes viral.
Right.
And then they go and they shoot a music video. So a perfect example is that clip that's going around now, that those like, Christ, I'm about to sin again, like that those two girls that are
running through the street, or like Disneyland or whatever.
Yeah, like that minute long clip has gone crazy viral. So if they want now, they can go and drop a real music video
that will get plays.
That will do well.
Yeah, just like those little snatch and grab. You just have to grab somebody's attention like really quick, and then you bring them to the real content.
Yep. So you have to have a 25-second, like, you got to have a 45-second clip, and that first 10 seconds
has to grab them.
Not even, bro, 3 seconds.
Yeah, 3 seconds.
You see now, and again, some of the things that worked at first aren't working anymore. So like you scroll through, and then some guy's like, wait, don't stop scrolling.
Hold
on,
please.
Don't scroll down.
Yeah,
it's like
begging
that guy,
for
I'm skipping you, bro. Stop.
Yeah, exactly.
So you gotta have something that immediately grabs.
You gotta use those trigger words at the beginning, man.
And you gotta be ready to change with the times, a lot quicker than ever.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So where do you kind of see yourself, like, where do you see Nerdcore, like if you were to fast forward 5-10 years from now, where do you see yourself in Nerdcore, and where do you see it at?
I don't know if Nerdcore will ever not be considered Nerdcore or whatever, but I think that the lines will be blurred between Nerdcore and mainstream and whatever, because they're already starting to blur a little bit. Like you have mainstream artists that come out in cosplay now because they're not afraid to.
Exactly.
And people are making anime references in songs and
sports
like big artists. Like Adesanya in the UFC, like he does all the all the different type of shit from Naruto, and he's doing all the
and it's not just Dragon Ball
guy
Z
from that plays on the Lions. I can't remember his name right now. Walks out with
Pokemon,
and Naruto headbands and stuff like that. Like,
So and because you got to think like the people who are. So it's very well known. I'm not a huge anime fan. I didn't grow up watching much anime. I watched a lot of sports growing up, so I'm still a sports guy. But I have an appreciation for it now because I've been in this for a couple of years, so I've had the time to actually go and watch stuff, So I've had the time to appreciate the art, and not just think that it's a whole bunch of like geeky kids that are watching it. Like it's a dope. There's dope shows, there's awesome concepts and things like that.
And there are some geeky and weird concepts out there too.
Like 100%. And there's something for everybody. Yeah. But they, you have to think the people that are our age, or our age bracket, when they were kids, a lot of them watched anime. So now they're adults that are in different professions, and they still like the things that they liked when they were kids.
Well, I put it like Marvel, for instance. So Marvel back in the day was the nerdy thing. That wasn't a thing. Now Marvel is the cool thing. That's the thing that, if you ain't watched a Marvel movie, you don't know what you're doing. But back in the day, it wasn't like that. Right. Like people were like, what is that weird cartoon stuff you're watching and stuff like that? And then you grow up.
Superheroes.
Yeah, okay.
And they have, our parents are now not the ones that are necessarily working. They're still working, but they're not the front of the workforce. They're not seen as the people who are driving the country necessarily.
Right.
They probably are.
Yeah.
And so the people that are at the forefront of everybody's eyes are the people who grew up watching anime and grew up watching superhero stuff, and
they got the money to spend on, like they have the money to do what they're they're into, and so it shows.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think that's it on Nerd. Well, no,
actually, I do have this question because I think this is a good question. Has anybody sent you a verse that was fire and you had to rewrite your verse? Like somebody sent you a verse and you're like, dang, that was good. I need to redo my verse. Okay, you've always been like, this is it.
I think ever since I was a kid, I've always been the first one to get the verse back.
Oh, okay.
So
you lead.
So I have gotten burned by that. It's called home field advantage. Okay?
Exactly.
It's called home field advantage. The worst form of home field advantage that I've ever come across was Dizzy, because he knows because the Gojo Flow song that we did.
Oh, right? Yeah.
So he sent me his verse, okay, and I didn't plan on going like, oh, let me hear his verse and then like I'm gonna write mine. I just couldn't get to it, and he had just sent me something. So he sends me this. All right, cool. I write my verse. I send it back, and then Dizzy calls me, and his fiance was in the room, but she was like off to the side, and
I didn't even realize that they plan on getting married together too, like at the same time. You guys plan that, huh?
I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know his date yet. I don't even know his date yet.
I'm just joking.
He's secretive. He's a secretive dude. But he goes like, bro, like your verse is awesome, man. Like that's crazy. I think I'm gonna have to make some changes in my verse, bro.
Hey, bro.
Why? That's literally bro. I think I'm gonna have to change my verse, bro. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. What's wrong? Like what happened? He was like, my fiance said you kill me up, bro. My fiance said that you kill me.
Bro, he does it perfect. I thought I was like,
that's crazy. And so then he went back and he went back and you can hear it. So the way that the song is, his verse is first. So it sounds like I copied him, but it's not so much. Like the way that the way that my ad libs were, and the way that I kind of had I had falsettos and basses, like, layers in my recording and stuff like that, and he added all of those things. He didn't change any words or anything, but he just changed all of like how he said it.
He had to beef it up a little bit.
Yeah, to make it sound a little bit more grand.
That's a good feeling, though. I mean, that's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah,
though. Like,
it's a huge compliment.
Yeah,
it is.
Huge
especially
compliment.
with Dizzy, man, because he's popping, bro.
Yeah. Anytime Dizzy kind of says to me, goes like, "Yo, this is your best verse," I'm like, "Okay, I believe you."
Yeah.
Like I have to take that.
He'll be straightforward with you. Yo, and what's up with Dizzy? I mean, him close enough. Like, man, I feel like the last 4 songs he's done,
it's not even that. We talked about
crazy.
He did that track with Fable, and where he actually started like putting like that rock kind of sound in his voice, and like after that he took off with like his vocals and stuff like that, adding that like vibrato kind of in his voice when he's singing, and like he just went ham on that.
So a lot of people don't know he started off as a singer. So he was in like like a step group, I think, or I think that's what they call it. He's from the South, bro. He's
step group, yeah.
Yeah. So his like if he could choose it, he'd be a singer. Like he wouldn't necessarily be he wouldn't be a rapper if he could choose to pick one. But he knows he's good at rapping. But that's why he found it so easy to do. He does like the melodic flows, and he can kind of use auto-tune. He knows how to use auto-tune. And you can see like a lot of his original songs, like a lot of the songs that aren't necessarily nerdcore songs, they're all singing songs. They're all like R&B, singing songs with like beautiful like pianos and stuff. Not too many drums.
I haven't gone back and listened to that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff goes under the radar because you look on the channel And I'm not saying that you guys do this as reactors, but reactors will look at it, and even fans too, that they'll look at it and they'll go, okay, this song has 100,000 views. I'm gonna click on it.
Yeah.
And then there's some that have 14,000 views, and they're like, oh, this song must not be that good, and then they move on. Right. You know, those things kind of go under the radar a little bit. But Dizzy's like a real good singer.
That's
really,
yeah.
really good.
Yeah, we'll have to check out
Interesting.
some of that.
Yeah. Dizzy R&B album coming out soon.
Probably, bro. Probably.
Let's
You
go.
ask him, he'd be like, I'll get on it. Yeah. You know, that dude has so much going. Like, he's got so much on. Like, he's got so many different projects that he does, like, at the same time. Like,
That's good, because
I'm gonna do some, like, you know, some song this week, and then it'll change in 20 hours. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm gonna do this instead. And then he'll see something on Twitter and he'll be like, yo, I'm about to do this. It's all like his brain's going like this
nonstop. Because he's doing it full time, right?
Yeah, he does music full time. Yeah.
Damn, that's cool.
Yeah, that's why
awesome.
sometimes, again, it's one of those things where I think Dizzy would tell you that we're probably on the same level when it comes to not work ethic, not when it comes to music, but like talent wise, where we could both kind of, you could say maybe he had a better verse or I had a better verse, but we've never killed it. None of us has ever. It's no lopsided songs.
Well, that's why you guys work so well. That's why you guys work so well together.
Yeah, you have to.
It's you guys complement each other so well. Like, and you could tell that when you're talking about you guys collaborate. You know, when you're writing the song and stuff like that. That's why I think you guys complement each other so well, because it's just not here's a verse, here's a hook, do your thing.
Right.
You know?
You have to. I think that's something that rappers will learn as they get older. Is that a lot of the time, like, so many people are like, okay, I have to do my best. This has to be my best verse every single time. And I believe that it's not a bad thing to think that way, but sometimes if you're working with somebody who maybe isn't as bar heavy, or, you know, and you are, or vice versa, you need to change a little bit just to make the song better.
Yeah, song.
If I work with Gino on a song, a lot of this, if I'm on a song with Gino, he's got punchlines for days. Like, that is.
Oh, we know.
That Cerberus song, man.
Yeah,
he went crazy on that.
He's always been that way. Like, from the moment I met him, I actually met him because he was battling somebody at a show that I was that I was watching Steven at. So he was battling someone, and it was all free. It was all off top.
That's
off
where
the
that
dome.
comes from.
And
he's got some great punchlines too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a really battle rap minded approach to a lot of things. So when I get on a song with him, I know he's gonna outpunch me. Like, I know he's gonna outpunch me. So a lot of the times I just go for swag.
Okay.
I try and
contribute to the song in a different way.
Yeah. Right. I try and throw a couple of punches in there so you remember them, but I'm not. I can't. Because
you're not trying to outdo him.
Yeah, if I try and outduel him, I'll lose. And the song will feel.
It won't be a good song. Yeah.
It'll feel out and not balanced. So
if
Dizzy is singing on a song or sing rapping or something like that, I always ask him, like, hey, what do you think? Do you want to do, like, do you want me to contrast it and, like, rap, or do you want me to try and do something similar to what you're doing, or do you want me to do what you're doing but on a higher level, because I can do that too,
or even in a different register? I notice that a lot too. Like, a really good artist, I think Peso does a really good job at it too, where he'll bring like, either, you know, he can do his craziness, you know what I mean, or he can just do like a softer, or, and sometimes I used to be like, wait, why didn't he go wild? And then I'm realizing, oh, it's because he's trying to contribute in that way, and that's a huge thing for an artist to be able to do. You do it as well. So
I look at, like, a perfect example is, you know, the song "Never Sleep" by Nav and Travis Scott and Lil Baby, I think, is on that one too.
I've heard that one.
He never sleep. There's hundreds a week. I think it's so boring. It's the most boring song. But you can hear, because I don't like Nav as an artist, really. Like, I just don't like his music too much because he's boring. But, like, whenever good artists get on songs with him, you can hear them dumb themselves
down. Yeah.
Yeah, you can so that way the song stays balanced. Like, even if the song's only going to be a 7 out of 10 and they know it, they're not trying to go, hey, if my verse is amazing, it'll ramp the song up, because it won't, because people will just skip through Nav's part
and go straight to the verse they want to go to. Yeah.
Right. Or if that verse is first, they'll end up skipping the whole, like, after the verse is done, they skip the song, and that happens all the time. So if you want a balanced song, then you need to be able to work, you know, with the artist. Like, if I'm working with somebody who's maybe not been doing it as long or something like that, I won't go super crazy to try and kill him.
Because you're trying to make a good song.
Especially in this, like, you know, Nerdcore is not quite mainstream, And so it's one of those things where you want everybody to grow. It's going to contribute to everyone's success as well as your own.
And I know too, because it's getting huge, but I do like the kind of relationships that everybody has with each other, right? So like I'll say it all the time, like DPS will get on and he'll talk about like when he says anything about mixing, if you're gonna mix, you probably should listen to what he says, right? So but it's never like, oh, I'm better at this than you are, better, what I'm saying? It's like, yo, this is how we should do it, this is what I suggest, or this is this type of thing, and you guys all do that, and it's because you guys can look up, like you realize that people are looking up to continue on the legacy of nerdcore or whatever, to do that. So
no, for sure. It is against, like, so I grew up in Jersey, and the underground Jersey circuit is so competitive that there's people who don't want to be friends. Like, they don't want to work together because they're thinking, yo, like, I'm trying to do this on my own. I don't want help, and I'm better than you, so I'm not going to help you. Like, that's kind of how the mindset is. So I think that's one of the good things about having a community like this, where everybody is trying to, like, there's enemies, there's always enemies,
there'll always be,
but then there always will be, like, there's nothing you can really do about it. No one's gonna like everybody, but there's so many people who understand the value in being able to work together and being able to collaborate and learning from each other. So Dizzy has learned from Fable the rock style, gritty singing thing. DPS has learned to, because DPS will tell you he wasn't a very good rapper when he first started. Like, he's tried to get better, and his songwriting is improved. And he goes, hey, he'll be the first one to tell you too, like, I'm not the best rapper on most of my songs. A lot of the times I get people on that are better rappers than me
to have that piece of it.
Right. But I'm going to be better at a whole bunch of other things because that's what I'm good at. So he does the same, on the same level where I focus on sometimes delivery and swag and like trying to be memorable in that way. And then maybe having one punchline that everyone goes, yo, that was that was the
it sticks out.
The punchline. Where so DPS will do, like, he does all these cool things with his voice and auto. Like, he's kind of gotten to this point where, like, he has his own sound now with auto-tune and
he's definitely mastered the auto tune over time too.
Yeah,
when the mixing too, like his. Because you, like you said, I can see that, because like when he makes a beat, his beat is very intricate. Like, he spends a lot of time like making each sound a certain way, so his sound stands out. Like, and I think that adds to his,
what I mean,
bro. He mixed Vacation for me, and when he sent me like four different versions of it, and each one does sound different, but I couldn't tell you why.
Really, it's he just got that touch.
Yeah, dude. Like, I remember having like this backing track of the hook, and it was a falsetto, and I just had it to have it, and it sounded cool with auto-tune. And then on the final version of the song, it's there. Like, you can, if you really, really listen to it, like, it's there. But he was like, the way that he described it to me was like, I wanted it to be a feeling. I didn't want it to be a sound. Jeez. I was like, what?
That's cool.
I never even thought about that, but that is the way
that
you describe
do.
it. Like, you can feel that part of the thing. It makes you feel different when you're listening to the hook, but you don't necessarily hear it.
That's actually interesting too, because I will, like, in my mixing days when I wanted to get better at mixing or whatever, like, I would like listen to people that were really good at, like, mixing or known to be good, or like songs that sounded like they were like well done, and I just be like, man, I don't know, I can't tell. Like, sometimes when people are too good, it's just like I feel this thing here, but there's so many things happen at the perfect time and the sweet spot and the way it blends in together. Like, so many little things are happening. It's really hard without just slowly doing it over time, and then you start hearing it more, because like, that's cool to think about it that way. That feeling of of the mix.
I can't mix, bro. I can't.
It's hard.
I could sit there with Steven. Like, I have a booth here. It's behind my thing. I have a booth that I built, and so I can record here, and I should. That's one of the main reasons why I don't like. I could record here. I just don't. But I like
the going to the
studio. I grew up recording in booths and stuff. Like, I grew up going to a studio and having an engineer sitting outside the glass and then being like, yo, like, do that again, pressing a button. Like, I like that, the mystique of that, right? So the closest thing I can get to that right now is going to Steven's basement and working at his booth, and him standing there or sitting there at the computer and being like, nah, you could do that.
Redo that, yeah.
So I can sit with him and tell him this sounds weird, but I can't tell you like, oh, I can be like,
How
hey,
to
can we
fix
make
it.
it sound more? Can we make it sound like, more intimate? Like, let's make this sound more intimate. And he'll do whatever he's got to do to make it sound that way.
And you're like, I don't know what
then
you
I'll
did.
be like, yeah, that's it. That's it. Or, oh, that's almost it. Can we just like, oh, you move that lever? Okay, move this up a little bit more. But I don't know what the fuck it is. Like,
It's a whole
I
different art
can't-
form in itself.
Mhm.
And that's what's
it's crazy.
that was one of our biggest like compliments for like you guys and everyone in Nerdcore is like, man, these guys are mixing and mastering and doing the song, like videos. Like, it's so much to be done, especially in a short amount of time. We're like, yo, this is crazy talent. Like, as more and more money gets poured into you guys, man, it's just gonna be cool to see what can be created out of that. And like you said, you'll start seeing those lines blend a lot more. Seeing Nerdcore like true Nerdcore fans getting into some like movies and things like that. And so but no,
it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time.
We agree.
Somebody up top gets into a movie or a
It's
TV
gonna
show. Like,
happen.
it's not like people are starting to learn how to get into syncing and stuff like that, and it's not gonna like I know artists that are nowhere near the level that like some of the people that we work with are, talent wise or fan wise. And they're in movies.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have you been listening to, like, on a TV show, you listen to some song, you have no idea who the artist is. The song's okay. Like,
yeah, but you have no idea. Yeah.
Nope. And those people are getting paid a lot.
Yep.
So
yeah, they're getting those
it's just a matter of time
royalty
until
checks
somebody.
over time.
It's only a matter of time until somebody gets in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Is there somebody in Nerdcore that you haven't worked with that you like really want to, or you have plans to?
So I have songs recorded with, like, just solo songs recorded with Mari and recorded with Delta D's.
Nice.
Hashtag said he needs. Hashtag said
Has-
he needs.
Who he asked?
He sent me the open, and I remember the day he sent me the open. I was driving like 7 hours that day, and I got home, and I downloaded the song onto my iTunes so I could listen to it, because that's usually how I end up writing. Is I download stuff into iTunes, and while I'm driving home, I'll think of stuff, and I get home and
You have a long commute?
It's about 40 minutes. It's not too bad, but it's enough time to like settle in.
Yeah.
So I like it comes up because I have like I have a playlist of all.
You're
beats
like,
that I
man.
like to, and I'm
How
like,
long has it been? How long has it been, Mix? Keep it a stack.
probably like 4, maybe 5 months that he's been waiting. Way too long. It's way too long.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I think I always like working with McGuire. I think we always do some cool stuff. But I think he does a lot of singy stuff, and he does a lot of like Chance the Rapper style stuff.
Right.
And I can do that. Like when I was first coming up, I did a lot of that kind of uplifting, inspiring kind of stuff with melodies and stuff like that. Because I can kind of hold a note. But I like rapping. I like making gun bars and stuff. So
the singing is secondary.
yeah, like I'll do it. Like if I gotta do it, or if it sounds right, then I'll do it. Most of the time in my features, I'll reference the hook at some point. So like for Die For You, I sang the part that Fable was doing, but I did it in a different key.
Mm-hmm.
So and I think that again, it just ties the song together, makes the song balance better. But yeah, I like working with McGuire. I still want Disney, and I have I don't know if I'm supposed to say it. We have something coming
first on Red Moon podcast. Let's hear it. No, I was kidding.
we have something that we've been working on for a little while that that'll happen eventually. Like, he's a busy dude, I'm a busy dude, but when we go down to DreamCon, in a couple weeks, and we're spending like a week together. So
nice.
He's bringing recording equipment. And
let's go.
It's me, him, Errol, and Gino all in the same house. So we're just
Let's go.
I'm not mad at that combination.
Yeah, no, Errol's awesome. Like, Errol is like, he's Travis Scott. Like, when I like his whole album is, there's no misses on his album. And once he figures out what works for him, he's gonna go because he already has the work ethic that I don't have. Like, he has that I can drop a song every 4 days. Right. Like, and he works more than I do, but it's a labor job, so it's a little bit different. But
Yeah, the tracks he's done with
dude's
Dizzy is
crazy.
Dude.
been insane.
He's wild.
He's awesome. So, and he can pump hooks out like this, like the Christmas song that we did, which was kind of like just whatever.
Yeah.
He pumped that hook. He gave that hook back to us in like 13 minutes.
Jesus.
Like Dizzy sent the beat, and Errol's like, I'm in the booth right now, and literally, what I can assume happened was he saw it on his phone, went, okay, sent it to his computer, put it in the DAW, and then made
Took
the
2
hook,
minutes and
exported it, and then sent it back. He's like, hey, what do you guys think? And Dizzy's like, it's perfect. Like, it's literally 13 minutes. It was nuts.
That's
like,
crazy.
He works
Built
quick.
different.
That's crazy.
Our whole collective is very, very good.
Yeah.
Grayson's been doing this for a long time too. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
So
I know we
think-
talk about Gino all the time too.
Mhm.
Gino's super talented as well.
Man,
Gino's
underrated.
Gino's
Super
awesome.
underrated. Oh, I
He's
mean,
really underrated.
Oh.
dude, that guy blows us away every time we hear his, those punchlines are wild. And I think he has a similar thing too, like where he has a really good voice. That's one of the things, but yeah, man, I mean, I know how much time you got? I want to make sure I don't keep you too long.
Home, no,
Okay.
I'm home tonight. I'm gonna write a verse for somebody after this, but I don't work until late tomorrow.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, no, we definitely wanted to talk about, I mean, just keeping it in, like, kind of going over some of the genres we go into, just quickly going over some anime gaming, maybe some of the stuff that you're into or watching.
Grew up playing games, watching.
And then, we usually get into technology a little bit. Primarily we've been talking more about AI, and that's
Yeah,
always a
we
fun one with most
jeez.
people. And so, I guess we could start with just like anime gaming in general. We could tie them into one. Just kind of, is there anything? Because you said you've
play
mainly
COD,
been
you
getting into anime more in the last like few years. And which is cool. That's always exciting for us because we've been watching anime for like 25 years, and so we get excited when you hear like, oh, I'm just hearing this or watching this or that. And so, is there anything like older that you're watching, or whatever new you're watching as well?
So I started Bleach a little while ago.
Nice.
That's the
Nice.
one that I'm trying to make my way
Like the
through.
Netflix.
Dizzy's
one,
making
or-
Dizzy's making you do that, huh? we know Eisen is trying to make you do that. We got
He's like, bro, just watch it. Just watch it. I'm like, all right.
Wait,
I
how
got
far are
time.
you
I'll
in
watch
it?
Not far enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started rewatching.
It's good. I think Bleach is something where like if I started watching it as a kid, I wouldn't
Right.
like it. But
That's a
I
problem
think
with a
if you-
lot of anime. Like when you go back, it's harder. Even when I go back and watch the ones I love, it's just like, oh, I can skip these. I can skip
Bleach
these
also
episodes.
deals with the weird filler thing
Yeah.
that kind
Yeah,
of makes it
there's a lot,
seems out of place and stuff like that. The main core story is super dope, but a lot of the stuff that they weave in there kind of throws it off a little bit, makes it a little bit harder to watch.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
trying.
for
He's
sure.
like, yo, listen, watch Bleach so we have some content when we make this new project.
Yeah.
Dude, he was not joking when he put on Twitter. He's like, bro, you guys are gonna get like 7 Bleach characters.
Oh yeah, I just saw
Because it just started up
Hey,
again.
I'm not
yeah.
mad at that.
He's just gonna throw a whole bunch of Bleach songs out. But when I was a kid, I watched a ton of Pokemon when I was a kid. And I know it's
Okay.
not anime.
Yeah, no.
but, like anime purists. Like
Yeah.
Hey, it's one of the ones that got us.
It's one of the OG
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
I remember it would have been my 5th birthday. We went to movie theater and we watched the Pokemon 2000.
Nice.
And that was my that's a core memory for me. Like,
Nice.
I remember Adam writes he threw up at the theater. That's a core memory.
That's there. That's there.
Yeah. So so Pokemon has always been big for me. As obviously I became an adult and it just ended a couple of months
Right,
ago.
yeah.
You know? So it's been running for 20
Forever.
however many years.
Yeah,
So I
we're
watched
babies.
a lot of it, and then probably the last 4 or 5 seasons I haven't seen, but I've seen pieces of it, and I played the games and stuff. Played a ton of Pokemon when I was growing up.
Nice. Yeah.
Generation I played the most, probably Gen 4. So Diamond, Pearl, Platinum
Okay.
was the one that I played the most.
See, we're old.
That's probably when we stopped
No,
playing
we were playing. Yeah, we played Red and Blue.
Yeah.
And then like after that, we didn't really play much of it.
Yeah.
That's why I was so hyped when Cam hit me up to do so I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but we did him, Matt Forio, and me, we did Matt Forio as Dialga, Cam as Palkia, and then me as Giratina, and it was like a battle. It was like a epic
really?
rap battles of history kind of style thing. Yeah,
Cam
so
does a
this
couple
shit-
little battle things too.
Oh,
Huh?
we gotta check
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I set the green screen up in my parents' garage and like went in there with Nick and did the whole thing. Like
Nice.
that's probably like top 3 verses in Nerdcore for me. Like that is
Nice.
like that's awesome. You guys definitely got to see that. But yeah, Pokemon. My best friend was like heavy into Dragon Ball Z, and it just never stuck with me when I was a kid.
I think that's even harder than something like Bleach to get back into it, to go all the way back and watch it. It's
'Cause
tough. Like,
there's so many different, like, there's this version, and then there's this version, and this version. This character is not actually alive, and it's like or like you have to find out. Like I always used to get confused on whose son is who, and like
yeah.
like
Oh
I
yeah, he's
just
talking about like
couldn't-
GT versus DBZ versus Dragon Ball
Yeah,
versus
like,
Super
yeah.
now.
Yeah, there was,
Yeah, so I'm
especially if
like,
you
I
started
don't know
later
which
on.
one
There's
to
some.
go first.
Yeah.
Like, which one am I supposed to go
It's
watch
really
first?
just Dragon Ball Z.
Well, and,
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
thing is you're right. I mean, you're talking about Dragon Ball coming out in, because we're fans of Dragon Ball, but like, it came out in
That was
like
a different show.
the early '80s,
Yeah,
late
yeah, yeah,
'80s.
yeah.
The
You
show
can't
did.
go back and watch that.
I mean, it is a little harder to go back and watch that type of stuff, but
No, I
So-
again, I was a very heavy
Sports.
into sports dude. Yeah, so I played a ton of like, so like I still play FIFA. So like I got like my Ultimate Team cards and stuff. here
nice.
Oh yeah.
That have my face on them. I get one of those every year because
Nice.
I'm a massive Arsenal fan. I'm actually going to get to see. I've never seen Arsenal play. I've been to the stadium in England. I've never seen them play a game. I've never seen a player up close or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they're coming to MetLife Stadium in Jersey.
You're like, I'm
that's
there.
cool.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, so
Dope.
I'm going down on Saturday. I'm going
That's
to watch
cool.
them play for the first time ever, which is
Nice.
nuts.
So do you like play
yeah.
baseball and like basketball and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played baseball. I was a third baseman.
Nice.
And then I was actually a state swimmer when I was in high school.
Oh,
so
Okay.
Light skinned Michael Phelps, right?
For real. Man.
yeah, black dudes, some black dudes can swim. It's weird. But I started swimming when I was like really little because my mom's Australian and every Australian needs to learn how to swim. It's kind of like just a thing, you know.
Yeah.
So my mom got me in swim lessons real early, and I developed quickly, I guess, as a swimmer. And I got into lessons, and I sped through the lessons. And they asked if I wanted to try out for the swim team. I tried out for swim team, got on swim team, and I was swimming in like, you know, I was like 7, swimming against 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds and stuff.
Oh,
like that, and
nice.
winning.
Yeah, cool.
And setting records and stuff at the Boys and Girls Club that I was swimming at. And I went to the Junior Olympics when I was 11.
Nice.
And then in high school, I think I stopped when I was 12, and then started again in high school when I was 14. And then when I was 17, I went to states. I didn't win, but I came fourth.
Close.
Yeah, I was close enough. You know what I mean? And my record for the 50 free individual event is still my high school record. So in
Wow.
Clifton, So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so
That's
I
dope.
was a good swimmer.
Yeah.
But then I was gonna go to school and swim, and then I got diagnosed diabetic, so I didn't know what I was gonna do.
Yep.
So I told them that I would kind of let them know how my treatment was going because I lost like 20 pounds and like I was really skinny.
Yikes.
Um,
That'd be tough
so,
to manage.
yeah, and I started trying to work out again and get back into it, and it was really difficult because I just didn't have the muscle mass anymore. And eventually, by the time I got it all back, I was like already working and stuff like that. So I just didn't do
Doing
it.
something
But
different.
everything kind of. I would have hated college anyway. So it's kinda one of those things.
Yeah. Do they have any swimming games?
No,
Like video games?
yeah.
no way.
Like
Yeah,
they
how
might
would
have
you
like
not
Wii
know?
swimming, like
You know
Wii
how
swimming.
it's like
maybe?
anime can turn anything into like an anime. Like, why can't games do the same? You
Yeah,
know what I
no,
mean?
yeah.
I feel like I saw
No
a
one's
swimming
paying
anime,
for that,
but
bro.
can you imagine?
nobody's
Alright.
paying for it, yeah.
Breaststroke.
No way. Michael Phelps 2004. No, bro.
2K.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're 2K24. Yeah, no. But honestly, bro, there's like rugby games. There's
Yeah,
like,
that's
there's
what I'm
so many,
saying,
like
like-
niche games. I mean, I don't know.
Weird
I don't
horse
know.
riding games, like jockey games.
Yeah.
Like, what? Okay,
Maybe
you can-
there's probably
There's probably
a
something.
swimming game. Like there's
There
I'm gonna
has
find
to
out. There's
be.
probably
gotta be.
there's probably something.
we just found out they
But,
made a
like-
game about being Jesus Christ, so it's like you can. You
Yeah.
can be
Yeah,
anything.
That was crazy, man.
They did swimming
Let's see
video
it. Let's see
games.
I'm gonna guess there has to be something.
It has to be something.
That's not like NES
Michael
or something.
Phelps pushed the limit.
Okay.
There you
It was
go.
on the Wii, wasn't it?
When it come out.
It was on the
Yeah.
Xbox
Oh,
360.
it was on the
Oh,
360.
yeah.
Wow.
2011. 2011.
2011.
That didn't really work for you, right, Michael?
We
That
should
didn't-
stream that.
They
We should
have,
do
so
it.
it's like a react. So it's like, I guess I don't know if it's a rhythm game sort of kind of thing, but like it looks like there's some sort of reaction system where like to do your dive at the right time,
You have to press a button.
actions have to be
okay.
fast.
Man, yeah,
And
I don't know. I
then-
think they would be able to make one, these days.
It looks like a rhythm game. I think it looks like a rhythm game. I wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
No.
All right, so no
But-
swimming games.
No.
And you said soccer.
I think a lot of kids in America play soccer when they're kids,
Yeah.
and they don't really know the rules. They just kind of run around.
They just make their
Right,
own
right, right.
rules, yeah.
So, like, I grew up so in my town, there's like a couple of pros that came from my town that ended up going to Italy and like
Oh,
ended
wow.
up playing MLS and stuff like that. So like Giuseppe Rossi grew up in Clifton and like a couple of different people. So, and he played in my league, like not when I was there, but
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
played in my league. So the league had a pretty high standard, but I wasn't very good. I had a very good motor because I was swimming, so I had better cardio than everybody.
Yeah.
else 'cause
So you
run
could keep
forever, and I
going.
didn't
Right,
want
right.
games- Yeah, I didn't want games to end. Like I still had crazy energy, and I didn't because I wasn't very good at it and I was better at swimming. I prioritized swimming. I didn't have any interest in continuing soccer.
Yeah.
But then as I got older, and I think I'm not unathletic. I'm good at most sports. Like,
Right.
I got
Right.
really good hands. And I played flag football for like 4 years, and then I hurt my ankle, so I slowed down. But for soccer, I love because it looks easy / boring to somebody
Right.
who doesn't know soccer.
Right.
But I love the tactical side of
Yeah.
soccer.
Yeah.
That's why
There's
I
a
play the
lot to
boring
it.
That's why I play the boring ass simulator.
You gotta
yeah,
love
yeah.
it to play that.
Yeah, it is like I can sit there and I can break down tactics. I could break down formations and like
Nice.
like understand why positions in soccer are becoming obsolete. Like there's no reason to have someone who's labeled as a left fullback or a right fullback or a center back or a CDM or whatever. You can not give them a position and just give them a role rather
Right,
than a position.
yeah.
Then they can kind of fill. And I think I watched hour and a half long podcasts of managers just talking about what their view on the
How they're
game
looking
is.
at the field and stuff like that. Yeah, that's
like,
dope.
Yeah.
the tactical side of soccer is so interesting to me.
Yeah, I wasn't into soccer when I was younger. I'm still not super into it just because it's, it's like another thing to tackle and get into. But like, I know once I found out how intricate it was and like how much more there was to it, it gave me a lot more respect for what it is. And I'm just like, yo, this is a pretty cool sport.
There's people who look at it, bro, and it's like so. Even me, I think I have a pretty deep understanding of the game. Like there's things I still don't understand. There's a reason why I'm not a soccer.
Right.
Like, it's like you can do it with the, you think of like the geniuses of any sport, like the Phil Jacksons of basketball or the Bill Belichick's of football, whatever.
Right.
Like they see things that other
They
people
see
just
everything.
don't.
Yeah.
It's that
just
genius mentality,
in the zone.
Yeah, it's that genius mentality that some people just have, how they can view things. And
It's just
like,
natural to them.
Yeah. I mean, you don't win
Yeah, no,
so many
100%.
championships stuff with it not being like something that you're really good at. So
Exactly. You got to know the most to be like, athletes are, there's freak athletes, right? Like there's
Right.
like, I'm sure LeBron James is one of the smartest basketball players to ever play the game.
agreed.
But on top of that, he's one of the most athletic players to ever play the game
Right,
too. So
right.
that's why he's so good. It has nothing to, because there's crazy athletes who aren't as smart,
Yep.
Right.
who don't do what LeBron
They
has
don't
done.
dominate.
Yeah, they just do
Right.
natural.
He
They don't
does.
pay attention to the game itself. They're just naturally good. But when you
Yeah.
play somebody who's naturally good and they pay attention, you create a
Right.
monster and that type of stuff. So same
That's
thing you
why-
did with
that's
Tom
why-
Brady, like just a monster in his thing. Pay attention to his body, what he does, but understanding the field and what he's looking for, like
Yep.
100%.
craziness.
Yeah, man. What else? Oh, let's just get into technology then. I wanted to know what you thought about. Did you see Game Boy and Darnell's back and forth? I wanted to know what your side was on. I saw a little bit of it.
I saw it like I saw the thread, but I didn't actually have a chance to like listen to the videos and stuff like that. I know that
See, I didn't listen to any videos.
I know that the question was like, how do you guys feel about like AI art for
Right.
cover art and stuff like that? So
Yes,
that's what
pretty
that's
much-
what the debate is.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, but like I got the concept of what they were talking about, and it is becoming more and more of a question as AI is like getting better and better at this thing. And so I thought it was like interesting, especially like talking to you as an artist in it. If you have any concerns or what do you think about it, and kind of what side you naturally feel like you're on with that?
I think there's two parts, right? I think that song, the AI song with Drake and The Weeknd,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, so I listened to that song and I was like, oh my God, like there's no way that computer wrote this. That's
I know.
Because it sounded like it just sounded like an average Drake and Weeknd.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, but the reason that it went so crazy was because we knew Drake and The Weeknd didn't write it, but it sounded like they did.
Yeah.
And I had somebody, when that came out, maybe like 4 or 5 days later, a friend of mine sent me this audio file, and I was thinking it was like a voice memo that maybe went too long and became like a thing. But I clicked on it, and it was a beat started playing, and it was Drake doing like an intro, and the intro was like yeah, I'm out here in Toronto, man, with my boy Mix Williams, and it sounded just like and he was like, yeah, this about to be the song of the summer, man, let's get this shit, man. And he's like, and then all of a sudden he started rapping, and it sounded like a Drake verse, and it was it was like, every step that I take, another dollar that I make. Like, it was like this, it's not just like a poem that somebody's reading. That's what I would assume that AI would do. Like, it would sound robotic and
generic,
a little bit like Drake.
Right.
Yeah. But it sounds like somebody's making a song, and that's where it becomes very, weird. And I know that some artists own like their likeness, so they'll own, if they'll own a certain sound, or if it's imitation, they have imitation like rights almost.
Yeah.
Like imitation copyrights. So I'm not worried about that side of things. The art is a little bit harder because it's becoming very difficult to distinguish what's AI and what's not. And if somebody goes, yeah, I drew this, it's kind of difficult to say whether they did or not, or if they created it online or whatever. Then you say, oh, well, I used the AI and I'm the one that told them what to put in the AI.
I guided them,
Yeah, and then it's like, then you're thinking, okay, I'm just using AI as a tool. People use Photoshop. Like, is it
or people can just mimic a style? Like, my question is always like this, like, when does it become like your art versus the person you might just be taking? I mean, we all kind of, as humans, we pull from this our past, you know what I mean, and we kind of imitate these things, whether it be information or styles, or I gotta, like Daniel used to draw art, and of course I would pick up from his style of art, and I'd pick up from people that I like and imitate them. So if you get an artist that's just really good at drawing, like Picasso or whatever, and then it looks exactly like it, but he draws a Dragon Ball Z character, has, you know what I mean, does he have rights to that, you know what I mean, or does somebody have rights to that art? And so it's just really interesting
for me though, like the being authentic, right? So I think that the biggest issue that they're having with it is you're taking physical pictures that have been drawn and just mashing them together, right? So like I think that's the issue that they're having is like most people, but you say somebody who copies Picasso, a lot of times there's still their own style put in that. If they directly copy Picasso, people don't have that same respect for him. So like they could do a style of Picasso, but their own style is still in there. It's when they copy it directly, all you're just considered is they're not looked at the same. They don't have shows, they don't have anything like that. They're just looked at as somebody who copies that style. That not that it's easy to do, it's just you're not adding anything original to it. And I think art is authentic like that, and that's why people get iffy about it, because they like it being authentic. Yeah,
I think that's probably the biggest hurdle that AI would probably go through is like, what are you adding to it as the person who said, oh, I want a picture of Joe Biden holding a stapler, and then the AI goes, okay, Joe Biden holding a stapler, and he's got like 6 fingers, and he's holding a stapler like this, and he's smiling, and like, what did you do? All you did was say, can you do this? And then I guess there is no, you're right. There is no originality from the person who's writing the thing. It's
well, I always like
because the next person who says, "Oh, Joe Biden with the stapler," is going to come up with the same, like something similar.
Right. Yeah, and I like to always think like, So I look at it like if you look at art like a job, you know what I mean? Obviously, you can turn it into a job, get paid from it, and technology and these things and AI in ways have been taking jobs anyway. Whether it comes down to the checker at the grocery store, you know what I mean? That technology took that job, and then we adapt to have a different job, you know what I mean, to program it or whatever, you know what I mean? And so is it like just because we use technology in that sense to make it more convenient for us, so like for the artist it sucks, right? For the person that wants quick art that's high quality, it's amazing. And so just like the person that wants to go through the line really quick, they go through the line really quick because they don't care, you know what I mean? But the person that lost their job does care. And so it's like, is it wrong for us to use that AR, that technology, for the certain percentage of people that want to be benefit or want the benefit from that? Now I can see like the argument comes down to it's stealing, you know what I mean? And so but it's like
they walked right past the register and didn't ring it in. That's what they did.
Yeah, that's what that's
they
more,
stole it. Like
yeah,
that's the difference.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think that it becomes, if AI can get to the point where it's creating art styles or it's creating music, then that's where you can have a difference of opinion, as far as like, now you could be talking about like, now I got to compete against a computer, and there might be some things in that, but it's creating its own thing. The issue I think people run in at the moment is it's just it's stealing from an artist, or it's pulling somebody's art style instead of creating something.
I can appreciate the idea that like there's artists who are like, damn, I hate this because like I pour my heart and soul into this, and then some computer comes along, makes something, and it's like just as good, if not maybe, if you have self issues, self-confidence issues, like, oh, it's better than my art, like what's the point of me doing it? I think there's always going to be a demand for original art that the computer can't make,
right?
And it's about cornering that niche. But my caveat to that is there's an AI that does chess, right? And it's supposed to be the best chess player in the entire world because it knows
it's stomping
every possible
right.
But there's people who I think it's been beaten a couple of times, but it's been beaten. Right? It's supposed to be the best thing in the world. So that AI has not like made it so that way professional chess players can't be professional chess players.
I think the fear is like how fast it's growing, where it's like
it's nuts.
If you say like, if you took a person and by the time they are 3 years old, what ChatGPT is like on version 4 or something like that, like it's 4 years old essentially, outpacing other things, you know what I mean? And so like if you took a 4-year-old and he was like beating people in chess, you'd be like, geez, what's going on here? You know what I mean?
What
like,
happens when they're 18?
Yeah, when they're 18, like how much further ahead?
I don't think that like the idea that like AI would take over the world, I don't think it's gonna be like I don't think that humans, I don't say that they would if they could, but like I don't think the human race is capable of making something that would gain consciousness on its own,
right,
reproduce on its own, and be able to not be turned off on its own. I don't think that the human race is capable of creating something like that. I might be tempting fate saying that, but like I just don't think that it would happen. But I'm sure somebody's tried. Like I'm sure someone's tried to do that and become a supervillain. But I just don't think. Yeah, like, I just don't think. I don't think that the human race would do that. But on our level, at least not in our lifetime. Right. When it comes to AI replacing like the creative, like because people were worried when they started using AI for like surgeries and stuff like that, or like robots for surgery.
Right.
So like robots, because earlier it was robots, now it's AI, right?
Yeah.
So robots use AI. That's what they are, right? So people were like, oh, we're using this new robotics system for surgeries, and people are like, oh no, robots are gonna replace doctors.
Right.
But that's not what it is, because the doctors are the ones using the robot.
Right.
Like
they're using it as a tool.
Right. The robot is like, it's got 5 smaller fingers, and you use your fingers out here because you can't operate in that space.
Right.
So it's thing like that. So then you move forward a couple of years, and there's Teslas and there's self-driving cars, and people always ask this question like, oh well, if the car is driving by itself and there's a person in the road and they have to go off, they either have to go off the cliff or run the person over.
Right.
Should we allow the car?
Psychology is just
Like bro, like it's not my department to make that decision.
Right.
On whether or not that's okay. B, like, yeah, maybe the car makes the wrong decision. Like, yeah, but
people make wrong decisions too. Right?
Yeah, people make wrong. Because what am I gonna do? What do you do? In the split second that you have to choose to run this poor child over or run yourself off the cliff, you might not think.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna brake really hard or something. Like, I don't know.
Right. Well, what I think is kind of interesting too, though, is like even right now we're talking about it as if it's like has a spot, or a place in the world just like we would. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's not like 20 years ago when we talked about AI or computers or whatever, you were just like, oh yeah, it's in movies, science fiction. But now it's like when we talk about it, even if you throw it in just a simple, silly podcast, you know what I mean? Like you're talking about it as if it's a thing that, potentially will or has, you know what I mean? The chance of making those decisions. And that's kind of, it's, for somebody that's into technology is really exciting for me, but it's also really kind of scary.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that again, anything used as a tool, not a weapon or anything like that, but as a tool to work on making society better, I think that it does have that ability. If we treat it like a tool, we can use it because it's always thinking, it's always processing. We can put our information in there, and it can help figure out ideas to help try to figure out curing cancer and figure out these diseases, because there's no sleep and there's no nothing like that. So if we use it as a tool, I think there's a benefit for it. But at the same time, like I said, I don't ever think it'd be in our lifetime, but there's evil villains everywhere.
You think 20 years ago though, when we were young and if somebody said, yo man, check this out, you're gonna be able to go in a VR headset, create a world and live in that, we'd have been like, nah, not in our lifetime, no way, science fiction.
I mean, but that's technology in general.
Crazy. Technology is always advancing unbelievably fast, and each year it gets faster and
crazier and crazier. Right. Like, I mean, you could have told me I could play anything on my phone and have connections to talk all over the world. Right. When we were little, there would have been no way that I would have believed that.
Yeah.
Think about how like I don't own a Mac, and it bothers me because I can't AirDrop things.
Yeah.
So and that's Apple
AirDrop. AirDrop's nuts. AirDrop is so
crazy.
If you're an artist or like it's so easy. Like literally, I could be sitting.
Apple's
sitting
for the
in the studio. I sit in the studio, and I'm on my phone, and I end up scrolling Twitter because Steven is exporting my file.
Yeah.
And I'm scrolling through Twitter, and I see
switch.
Something happen. Then all of a sudden, up pops on my phone the song I just recorded.
That's crazy.
And then it's on my phone, and I can send it. I can upload it straight to DistroKid from my chair.
Right there.
I don't have to get to my technology. You couldn't do that.
Right.
20 years ago.
It would have seemed like magic.
Yeah. I mean, think about switching from because we weren't alive for a lot of the crazy so I wasn't alive when the internet was, first erected. Right. So that I can't even imagine. Like, I don't think about it now, but I can't even imagine how like people were like, oh, there's this thing. How do you describe the internet to somebody who's never used the internet?
Never used it. Yeah. It is weird.
And on my phone, I have a fucking supercomputer in my phone, in my hand, in my pocket, all the time that I walk around.
All information. So the highest megapixel camera, the highest video quality.
Yeah.
So I sell cell phones, and Jerry used to do it too. And one of the things that I always see when people come in, a lot of older generation come in, and they talk about like they might have worked for the government or something like that, like state and stuff, and they talk about these computers, and they said like, okay, our phones. Like my phone is a 512 gigabyte phone, right? They said it was 512 megabytes. Computers in whole rooms to get 512.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah. Even the first phones we had were 16 megabytes. You know what I mean? Like for phones, you could have one song on that thing. You know what I mean? Like
one song.
Get your favorite song on
audio message.
Yeah. Y'all need to stop texting, man.
I'm trying.
Yeah, word.
I gotta delete these messages.
Go over my minutes.
Man. Oh
like
my God.
Go my minutes.
Dude.
Like I mean, think like. Again, we have like Wi-Fi on planes. Like we have like all these like people fucking 4 miles in the air, and they can send me a text message because they have Wi-Fi. Like it's
crazy.
That's not a thing 20 years ago.
Not at all.
So in 20 years, I might be able to. I don't know. I might be able. They just started testing flying cars and stuff like that. Like they just approved the first one for testing and stuff.
With
like
these,
that. I mean that.
Did you see the
with the Apple VR glasses thing?
those Apple VRs
Yeah,
are
exactly.
crazy. Well, did you see
Exactly.
the what was the what artist did the VR concert?
Oh, Travis Scott.
Travis Scott did
Well, not
Yeah.
when he did the thing in Fortnite. Is that
In
what you're
Fortnite,
talking about?
in Fortnite, that's what it was.
Full on concert in a game.
Living like people, we talk about, so people destroy their lives over like World of Warcraft and you know what I mean, like all these like MMO games. Like how much you think people are gonna just be living in these worlds, man? Like they can go to their concert, they can talk to their friends and really see them, and they can look how they want to look. You know what I mean? Like change the voice to sound like Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like and it's I mean,
What's the movie?
It's gonna be a weird world.
The movie where it's in the they're in the future kind of, but they all live in this game, like, and then they go out. It's pretty sure.
Spy Kids 3D. I don't know.
I know there's a couple things.
Ready Player One.
Ready
Ready
Player
Player
One,
One.
yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
okay,
that like that world, like the world outside went to hell, but you know they all living cool
Right.
and luxurious.
It's like I don't.
Hey, bro, it is a crazy idea to think that like because I think about like so when Skyrim said that they were gonna do VR for Skyrim, I was like, yo, that's an amazing game to have.
Yes.
Because that was like when VR was
Yep.
just first like that was like the big game where they were
Right.
like, hey, like we got Skyrim VR, and we're like, oh, this is what it's gonna be like now, like for games and stuff. And now they're gonna do as they get older, as they get stronger and stronger. Like the PS5 is an insane
System
console.
Yeah.
Like you can't even explain that to somebody who, I had my my NES and no, bro. This is faster than your computer in your house.
Yeah,
Right.
It's better than most people's computer.
I
in
think
their
that's why it's like
Yeah.
AI and all this stuff, virtual reality. Do I think that like it's gonna take over everything? No. Is it gonna be heavily embedded into everyone's lifestyles?
house. Oh, AI is already.
Right.
They're already talking about AI in video games being able to push conversations where it's never the same and just be like
you
just
can go in
even
a
that
virtual
type of thing.
workplace
Like
and-
you have this thing that can think very quickly, so it can create a conversation about what you're talking about. So you can pretty much say anything to it,
Right.
and it can have a response.
You
back,
don't need to know
but just guide
other
it into the
languages.
way they want you to go in the game.
Because it automatically translates languages.
Yeah,
That's-
that's the other thing. So like having something that like where you now imagine you might not need a translator anymore.
Yeah.
Like you can have a conversation with somebody and they're speaking French and you're speaking English and they can know exactly
Right.
what you're
Yep.
saying
Well,
in
and
real
in-
time like this.
Even in the workplace, like you'll have online trainings. I wouldn't be surprised if like you guys do, like we do, whoever, like they're gonna do 100% virtual online trainings where you're seeing the teacher stand in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like you don't have to have we're like you said, we're in cell phones, and a lot of times we ran into when we would go into the workplace for trainings or training reps, we would. You know, you don't have enough display models or you don't have the whole setup. And so like you couldn't emulate the sales process to your employees. Now you don't need that. You don't need extra inventory, extra merchandise to show that stuff. You can always be able to train at 100% because you just program that stuff in.
Well, and the
You know what I
money
mean? Or like
savings that
you
they
guys a
get, too.
virtual food store, you know what I mean? We're like, here's what you're exactly going to be doing. Go walk through it, like actually do it versus just like watching a video that no one's paying attention to. And then, you know what I mean? And they don't even know they're
Yeah.
brand new by the time they start.
They have so like I play this stupid simulation game where like you have like your press conferences as a manager, right?
Right.
Like you have different and you have conversations with your players and so on and so forth. Like if a player is upset because he's not making enough money and he feels like he's better than he was when he first signed his contract, so he wants a new contract. Like, so they come up and there's 5 options of what you can say to that player, but they're talking about like, oh, let's put Chat GPT in the game, and then you can literally say exactly what you mean,
Yep.
and then they can
Respond
reply
back.
to you and have like their own emotions and their own like personalities and stuff.
It
'cause they
feel
already
more
have
authentic, yeah.
personalities.
Right.
Yeah, and so you couple that with better graphics as things get more and more real looking. You have like, I remember, like, you guys remember the Tupac hologram?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yes.
yeah, like I remember being sophomore year of high school and
Blown away.
like, this is the most like getting chills watching it. And,
Yep.
like I'm getting chills out talking.
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it
it was
Like,
crazy. It was
chemistry, bro.
insane.
Like I remember sitting in chemistry class and watching that. Like,
Yeah.
being
And that was how long
no,
ago?
it wasn't chemistry. It was biology. It was so that would have been 2011.
And that would have been
So-
clunky in the comparison of what they can do.
Yeah, bro. Like now Drake sat next to himself.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Jesus.
And
As
it
a kid,
looked unbelievable. It looked unbelievable. You have like, commercials where LeBron is sitting next to himself.
Yep.
So
his 18-year-old self. And
this
like,
is-
it's crazy.
Sorry to interrupt. I was gonna say that just reminded me. We want to ask you about this. Is like, so that brings up an interesting like concept. Is the good and bad of being able to keep an art. So like now you can be like, yo, Tupac never has to die, right? Like Tupac or Michael whoever, like your artist can live on forever and forever, which is good. But then there's always gonna be negative there's gonna be the negative side of it where it's like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, if you're making shows where you can make this person look like, let's say it's Denzel Washington, he's doing a movie and he can be in movies forever, you're always going to take the Denzel Washington and his, or you're going to often take the Denzel Washington before you take some newbie. You know what I mean? So like there's positive and
also
negative
would
sides
that
of
person
both.
take that? Would Denzel take that role,
or would he offer his likeness for that role?
Yeah, or would whoever, an actor or a singer, would they sing that song? So if you let their legacy live on, would they have sang that song? Is that naturally what they would do?
You see all the like the X songs and like the Juice World songs that come out that are like AI,
right?
And I don't know. For me, so my buddy just sent me like this TikTok that does like AI sound, like, oh, what if Peter Griffin sang?
Oh yeah,
like some Adele song or whatever.
Right.
And it's funny, and like I watch it once and I'm like, it's funny. But then like I kept scrolling, and then it was like, oh, what if Juice World sung this? And I go, all right, like I guess that's cool to know what it would kind of sound like, but
he would never sing that. So, yeah,
right. But once people figure, and this is just some random person using some low level AI because it doesn't sound that great, but it sounds kind of cool. If you get somebody who's like at the top of the AI game, I guess, I don't know, the top of the AI whatever, using the top of the line technology, and they make it so that way they have an entire album of dead artists making new songs,
right,
and they profit off of it, that's where it can become very, very, very cloudy.
And also what's crazy is like we talked about how like artists aren't the ones buying your stuff, each other's stuff. It's the consumer. And like if the consumer's buying it, most consumers, if you think about them, they just want to be entertained. They want to be entertained by their entertainer, whatever it is. So they're gonna buy it, and also like this is the other piece of it is more so of finding ways to combat it, is going to be tough, but I think that's going to be more what it is, because AI is already generating these things. There's always going to be, characters that are willing to do this sort of thing. And so it's about like, I listened to one thing, right? Like I listened to one thing that talked about like you having a separate like a person or like online identity that like almost in a way has its own social security number. Like, so this is my identity online. I own this and it can't be used or it's fraud kind of thing.
Right.
And so like that's going to be the sort of thing to combat the idea of this happening, which is good, you know what I mean? But it's definitely going to happen no matter what. And that's the other side of it that I feel like people don't talk a lot about in these conversations. Like, this is good, this is bad, I don't like this. Of course, if you're an artist, you're not going to like, AI stealing artists. If you're just like people in the cashier job, they're not going to like people taking their job, but it's going to happen, and it is happening.
How do we maneuver around it?
How do we move around it? I think it's going to be the main thing.
Laws change, laws change like this, bro.
Yeah.
Like people be really surprised how if something depends on how high a priority it is, right? So like if it's not something that needs to be fixed right away, it doesn't. If it needs to get fixed right away, if it's a problem right this very second, like somebody finds some massive loophole in a law, they change the law.
Yeah. Especially like, you talk. There's really firm laws set around sending a nuke somewhere, you know what I mean, versus like AI. It's like, we'll get there.
We'll get there
if it becomes nuke level dangerous.
Exactly. Like if they go like you talk about like just on a way smaller scale, like the MLB has all their new rules and stuff with like the pitch clock and like all these things that people don't like.
Yeah.
The pitchers started, like Max Scherzer is one of the best pitchers in baseball. He like started manipulating the rules for the pitch clock, and he started like gaining an advantage on it, and they literally like it was like in
shut
a week.
It down.
They were like, okay, well, we're just gonna change it. It's a new rule. Like, okay, you found a loophole. Great, awesome. We're gonna change it, and we're gonna call it the Scherzer rule. So you have a rule named after you, and it's because you found a loophole. And then anybody who finds a new loophole, they'll just change it. So if it really does start to affect things
on a massive thing,
on a massive level where people are when it becomes money and when taxes get involved and like all those different kinds of things, the government will go, okay, how seriously do we need to take this?
The government start losing on the taxes. They're like, nah, we figuring this out.
Yeah,
this is quitting today.
They start talking to lawyers and they go, hey, how bad could this get? And lawyers go, get pretty bad. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna
Let's
change the
figure this
law.
thing
We're
out.
gonna have a meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, ultimately, the whole, the whole of society doesn't want this thing to burn down and crash. Like, luckily. So
Yeah.
no, I mean, that's kind of the last segment. Was there anything like that kind of has been on your mind? Just keeping in mind, like as like a podcast, we would want like our guests to have just as much time to talk about things that are interesting to them. Is there anything, whether it be Nerdcore or some stuff we talked about, that you're interested in, or?
I think if I could have every ear in nerdcore, whether it was fans, artists, whatever, mainly artists, I think I've said it before, right? And it was kind of based around when when there was diss tracks were coming out and all these different kinds of things. I think humility is you can't really feel humility without being humbled by somebody. You don't learn humility naturally. If somebody was growing up and if somebody raised themselves, if they were able to be born and then be in a vacuum forever, they wouldn't learn humility, right? They would only think about themselves, and that's okay. That's okay. But again, I said it before, like I think I went through my ego phase in high school, and I was humbled because I lived in that bubble in high school, and I went to a school that was like, I graduated with like 800 kids, and there's like 5,000 kids in the school. So that was like it was a fan base. It was an easy fan base to kind of corner the market in, because there weren't that many rappers at that time. So when I left high school, I lost that word of mouth factor, and all of my plays went down, and I lost the momentum and I lost the drive kind of, but I kept the talent. So my ego went all the way down here, but my talent stayed here, and then they started to grow together.
Find
and
the
now
balance.
I think my talent still surpasses my ego. I'll tell people all the time, there's things I got to work on, and they're like, what are you talking about? You're so good at this thing. And I'm like, yeah, but this is not so good, so I got to fix that. So I think it is a valuable trait to learn to be humble and understand your talent and actually find your talent level. So I think that there's a lot of mainstream artists that aren't very good, and that's always how it will be. I'm not saying that I'm way better than them. I'm saying that they probably know, and they go, hey, I'm making the music that I can make. Like, I'm making the best music I can make, and I'm getting better. And either they got lucky, or they had a song that went viral, or whatever the situation is, and they're like, okay, I'm going to work on what I need to work on and get better. So like a good example is like for working hard and getting good at stuff is KSI. KSI was not good at making music before, and now his music is up there with the mainstream stuff, because he started working with people and started going,
to
hey,
get better.
how can I get better? And he was offered more opportunities because he was already had some level of stardom, so he had more resources to use. Surround yourself with people who are better than you, and you'll get better. And you have to understand that they're better than you. Like that, and you have to be
like
okay
truly,
with it. Yeah. Like you have to actually believe and go. Like, I know Dizzy's a better songwriter than me. I think I can probably, like, if we were just writing a verse, that you might like his better than mine, or somebody else might like mine better than his. But there's no clear better person. It's like having, who was a better player, Shaq or Kobe? They played two totally different positions, so they were good at different things.
Right.
But I know that there's things that I can learn off of him, so I need to be around him. And plus, he's a friend of mine, so obviously that's what it is. And again, like, Arrow's real good at making hooks. I suck at making hooks, I think. So that's kind of my thing. So being around Steven, like, I have always kind of idolized him when it came to the music stuff, because his songwriting was awesome. He used to be able to make like just beautiful, like just songs that just sounded so good, and they had so many like, I'd seen like Pro Tools sessions with like 400 tracks, and I'm like, what the, like, I can't even gear this one, like, why is that? And my Pro Tools sessions are like 5 tracks. I didn't need that many. And so like surrounding yourself with people who are great at, like, so Gino, his cadences are really good. His confidence in what he's saying all the time, his punchlines, the way that he structures his verses, like, the way that he thinks of punchlines, I can't even describe it. Like, the way that he thinks of punchlines is like, because he's one of the quickest witted dudes I've ever met.
Right. Yeah.
You'd have to.
I don't know if I don't know if you guys know this, but he did stand up for a long time.
Did he
really?
Yeah. So like a lot. So if you listen to his, you can probably find it. It's probably not that hard. But
we're gonna look.
I won't out him. But
too late.
Maybe I'll send it to you guys.
All right.
I won't put on blast, but but like the way that he kind of structures his verses and his punchlines and stuff is like how a comedian would think of jokes. So I never thought it's a totally different way of thinking for me. So I've tried to use that in some verses that I've had, and they've come out pretty cool. But I also have something I work on. So I think the most valuable trait that an artist can have is humility, because you gotta say you're the best and stuff in your songs, and you gotta believe it when you're saying it for sure, or at least make it sound like you believe it. But you also have to understand that there are people that are better than you, and you don't deserve just because you have some talent, or just because you've made some songs that have done well or whatever, you don't deserve anything. You deserve credit, but there's no handouts. Like you don't just deserve something because you're working hard. There's plenty of people who work way harder than me, who don't have as many resources as me, or haven't had as many opportunities as me, but I'm not ungrateful. So I think when people aren't humble, they come off as ungrateful. And,
I think
that's the biggest issue.
Yeah, and I think tying onto that is like we talk about ego a lot, especially just being in this industry, like in the industry altogether as far as entertainers go. But like, you nailed it as far as just having humility, and then also like allowing people to have some ego, like understanding like that, you, especially being an entertainer, I think more people need to have conversations like what you're talking about, because like the ego, what's the soccer or football? Sorry, my bad. What's the blue lock? That ego, seeing that side of it, I think is good for people to understand, like all these people pitting up against each other that have this ego, allowing the ego to be there so you can use that person, in a good way, and they'll use you to, hey, I understand this person has an ego. I can see it in myself as an entertainer, and then, giving them some slack, cutting them some slack for having some of that ego, especially in the world that we're living in, and putting ourselves out there as far as being entertainers and stuff. But like, I think that kind of goes hand in hand, is like having that humility, but also for, being a little more laid back with people having some of that ego in them. You know what I mean? But
it's dog eat dog. Like, for sure it's dog eat dog. We're all trying to get there, and we have to think about number one first.
For sure.
But like I think it's undervalued, the amount of resource that we have now. Like, there's tutorials to do everything on YouTube. There's all these different kinds of how to make a good rap song, how to make a good rap verse, and you just see the one that has 4.8 million views. You go and watch it, and it's futuristic on there, and being like, the first line is has to be a cool line that drags somebody in. Then the second line is going to be a punch line, and then the third line, this one's the least important one, it's going to be a filler line, and then the fourth one is a hard punch, and then you move on to the next stanza. And when you move on to the next stanza, you change your flow, and like that's it's very robotic. But what, like, not that futuristic is robotic, but the way that the basis of making a good rap verse is robotic.
It's the idea of, just like we were talking about, with pulling people in with this fast form entertainment that we deal with today, being able to change, and because that formula right there will change up some, but the basic idea of it, you gotta bring someone in. Once you bring them in, you got them a little. It's just like somebody that's like, if I'm a Tupac fan, I'm gonna be a Tupac fan, and if he drops a song that's kind of mid, it's gonna sound better to me. You know what I mean? Like, there's a little bit of that, like, I'm a fan. You know what I mean? So like, once you get that person in, you can not that you would slack off. You know what I mean? But like, it could be okay with like slowing it down a little bit, using some of that time to like now let them know a little bit about who you are. Like, I can't remember what you call like the third line, the one that people don't need to care about as much. But like, but you have to finish strong. The grand finale has to be there, kind of thing. So. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I agree with the humble thing. I think a lot of times, and I think as you get older, it's a sad thing, because ego is really there when you're young. I mean, it's there a lot because, again, you're set in an environment. School does it. like your categories of what's cool, what's not cool, and like, you know, being a jock, not a, you know, that type of stuff. So ego is always there, and a lot of times when you're young, you're not thinking about anything else.
Right.
You're thinking about how do I get what I want.
Right.
But being humble and learning that, like you said, you've learned different things and made good friendships along the way to create an avenue for you in the better, which is a better long run thing than somebody who's just focused on ego, because they will burn out. They will, after a while, they will burn out. People will find out that ego is way too strong and not like you and like that type of stuff. I think when you're humble and you understand, like you said, there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of ego. I think everybody does, but it's being humble that gives you that ability to connect with people, I think, and open up to learn more things and understand, like you said, I'm not the best at this, but I can learn and become better at this. And it only makes you better as a person. I think that's how I feel.
I think the main issue with a lot of these, I mean, say issue with a lot of these nerdcore kids is not that, but it's just that they're kids. Like, a lot of them are 17, 18, 19 years old.
Right.
And I wish when I was 16, 17, that I had the, like,
stage,
all these kids have
platform.
like all these kids have like their mics, they like have all the equipment, like the Focusrite, interface is $120,
Right.
and you can make some fantastic music with that.
And
like,
you get
I didn't
that
have
sure.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, and you the Sure's, $400 whatever dollars or whatever, but you save up for a couple. Like, if I knew that, like if I had access to that when I was a kid, totally different thing.
Right.
But again, I would have, like, there's I listen to a song and I go, damn, this is a pretty cool song, and then I find out that the artist is like 14, and I'm like,
right,
that, like, you got auto-tune and stuff, and you kind of figured out how to use it, but like, it sounds really, really good, and I wish that I had that. And again, if that kid gets told enough times that he's dope by everybody around him, and nobody really questions it, he doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
You don't.
Right.
You don't naturally get better. So I think, there was that whole conversation about how the people up top don't give the same opportunities to the people down the bottom, and you can't,
gatekeepers
again. Like, there's no such thing, bro. Because like, I think there was a little animosity towards me because of my opinion on it. That, I'm new in nerdcore, but I'm not new to music. Like,
right.
That was the misconception of me. And I think when people started to learn a little bit more about me, and I was posting like music videos from when I was like 16, and I was in booths, and like I was selling out shows when I was, like, I remember my first ever show, I was 14, and like the other rappers were all like mid-20s.
Dang.
And they called me Baby Drake because I had shaved head back then, and like, that
light skinned
and mix, you're gonna get the Drake.
Mm-hmm. So and I used to draw, like, I was a massive fan of Kanye West, still a massive fan of Kanye West. So I had like the lines, like the stripes in my head. So like, I was rapping, and like people were always going like, yo, like, how old are you, man? Like, this is, like, keep going, bro, because you're gonna be this and that. And so I got super, super hyped, and I wasn't that good yet. I didn't know, but everybody was telling me I was so good, so I just kept doing it. And
makes you stagnant.
That, like, but you chase that, like,
validation.
People are telling you you're good. Yeah, you chase it. And I think anybody who's in the entertainment, business and wants to make it a career, we all are lacking something, and that's why we look for the validation of strangers on the internet. But, I think, again, if you can find that humility, some people can humble themselves. Like, you can sit there. It's very difficult to do, but if you can sit there and be like, okay, what am I doing that's different than everybody else, because they're moving forward and I'm not? What's happening? And being able to look inward rather than projecting outward.
Right.
I think that's a skill that you do. It's easier to learn as you get older, but some people never learn it, and some people learn it super, super early. So I was lucky enough to learn pieces of it when I was a kid, and now I've gotten to the point where I know what I'm good at, I know what I can get better at, and the want for validation is obviously still there. We all have that, but the need for validation isn't there, because the need is not. I don't make the music for validation. I think a lot of people do.
Where do you think you learned that? Like, are you close to your parents or your dad? You think your dad or parents instilled that in you, or?
I think it was so having friendly competition around me helped a lot in high school. Like having the rap group that I was in and everybody being good and we used to do these songs. Like I was so like it's the reason my hook game sucks is because I was so anti auto tune. I was so like my songs were 4 minutes
Just rapping.
straight
Bars.
bars through the whole thing, no hooks, no breaks. I'm not letting no beat
Which we still
breathe.
like, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, like some people love that, and there's an audience for it for
But
sure.
not the masses per se.
No.
Yeah.
So I think having friendly competition helps. I think surrounding yourself with the right people helps because your friends will humble you if they're good friends.
Right,
They
right.
won't. They're not yes men, right? Like if I send something to Gino or I send something to Dizzy, send something to Steven, you know, I've been sending more stuff to DPS because I appreciate his engineer ear. If they say something to me, like I know it's genuine.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
If Dizzy goes, "Yo, you killed this," I go, "All right, cool, awesome." That I know that he means that.
Or if they're
he
like,
goes,
it
"I
was
don't-"
trash.
Yeah, like if he'd be like, "I don't really like this part in the middle." Like,
Yeah.
I like 0 to 63 seconds, and then after that, I'm not really interested anymore. You lost me. So then I can go back to the drawing board and fix it. So, being humbled by your friends, I think, is
That's
the
awesome.
main thing.
Dope.
And I have as I've gotten older, I've gotten closer with my dad. But my dad is a very laid back kind of dude, whereas my mom's more of a go getter, and you know she's always active and stuff like that. My dad kind of hangs out in the back and just kind of gets his work done and
Keeps his head down.
Yeah, his thing is like I just want to keep the peace. That's always his thing. So like I think I've gained the best attributes of both of them. Like I don't stress much. I try to keep stress out of my head because
Smart.
like at work I'm on the go like constantly, and my job is to, as a restaurant manager, my job is to walk out there. Usually it's like, hey, table 6 wants to talk to you, and I go, all right, cool, why? And they go, they're not happy with whatever. And so okay, I know I'm walking into a situation where someone's upset already.
Yeah.
So I have to take their negative energy. Like I have
Diffuse
to
it.
walk over there with
diffuse it.
with real positive energy, diffuse their issue. So basically
Know all
take on
about
their
that.
negative energy, crush it,
Yep.
and then turn it into something positive.
Right.
Yep.
And I would say 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, it goes that way.
Yeah.
That other 0.5 times, sometimes people just don't want to be happy, but you have to be able to like smile and wave and move on.
Right.
Like,
At least make it to where it
that's
doesn't
what
escalate further.
and that's so I think we all choose careers that make the most out of what we're good at. So I'm
Yeah.
good at making people feel something. I'm good at making people smile. I'm good at making people laugh. Like I got a pretty dry sense of humor, but it's because I'm Australian. We all got dry sense of humor. So I like making people laugh. I like making people smile. My attitude towards my life and towards my friends and towards what I do is all the same. So I'm always the one that offers the designated drive, even though I don't have a problem having a drink. Like,
Yeah,
right.
if I wasn't the designated driver, I would go out and I would live the life to the fullest. Kind of.
Yeah.
But I'm always the one that volunteers. Like, hey, I'll drive if no one else wants to, or if we're all going someplace, I'm the one that picks everybody up and
Nice,
we
yeah.
all drive. Down
That's from
together.
being the
But that's
bigger
just-
brother.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, especially
But that is
girls.
That is why, that is why. I mean, I think if my friends are, that's why I made the "I'm Fine" video because
Oh yeah.
the
Great video.
I
too.
had I was
And
thank
song.
you. I was
Yeah, that's
watching this. They had the Wayne Gacy documentary. on
Documentary.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I found it so insane that there was this guy who, yes, he was a murderer in his other life, right? But he had his front life as like, he was foot forward in politics and like he was loved in his community and he had this great family and blah, blah, blah. And then on the other side, he was a murderer and all these horrible things. So there's plenty of people who have, they put forward this, this front that their life's going great, that they have great family,
facade,
great friends,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And then behind, they're really sad and nobody really knows. And so I'm not sad. I'm very happy with my life, and I'm a big proprietor of doing what, makes you happy,
Right.
and putting money second, right? You
Yep.
have to prioritize. But the "I'm Fine" video, I kind of had this like thing where I was like, okay, artists are kind of, and it was, I watched it the same kind of thing where like Kanye's been spiraling for a long time, but I don't even remember what part of the spiral it was, but something had happened, and I kind of go like, damn, like, because he mentioned an album. I think it was, he said that he was gonna come out with an album, and I think it was Donda that he was promoting, and in my brain, the thoughts that went through my brain went like this. I went, okay, I really want to hear what Donda sounds like, right? Because, and the thought was, oh, he's going crazy. I really want to hear what Donda sounds like. And I was like, why did my brain take
associate
that route?
Yeah.
Why did I go, oh, this man's life is falling, like in front of us, it's falling apart. But
what
I
kind
just
of
want
music does it turn into?
Like. Yeah, and like my brain went that way, and I went, oh, what if? And I'm not the first person to have this like introspective kind of thought and song, but the idea for the video specifically was, you know, this idea of a clown, or you know, someone who's there to entertain everybody and be the happy one. So there's all these, a friend group of 4, and there's one person who's overly optimistic about everything all the time, and they have to be that for the balance of the group. They have to be the lightning rod for that group. So 3 out of 4 people could be sad, and that one person comes in and takes on all that negative energy and turns it into positive energy. And that's kind of how my life has been, I feel. And so when I, in the video, when I look in the mirror at the end and I see a clown nose, is because that's how I see my, like in the song, that's how I see myself, where like, okay, I gotta go out there and I gotta perform, I gotta go put on a show, because if I don't, it'll screw up the dynamic of my entire life. If I stop acting happy, even if I'm not feeling happy,
that negative stuff is gonna come through everything.
Something's gonna happen. Yeah. So, you know, this in the video, like, it's me sitting there waiting to get on stage, and then, you know, I go into the dreamscape or whatever you want to call it, and it's me thinking about all the things that are important.
The avatar state.
Yeah, word.
Is that what it's called?
It's gotta be. But it's thinking about all the things that are important to me, and why I put on the brave face most of the time, and why I try and act happy, and why I try and leave negative thoughts at the door, and then coming back and being like, all right, like, thought about all those things, it's cool to go. Let's go to work. So, I think if you don't have, again, circling right back, if you don't have humility, you don't feel that.
Yeah.
You just think about whatever is going on with you. You don't think about anybody around you. You don't think you don't think about what, you know, your words, you know, impact. You don't think about who they impact.
Right.
So I don't know how deep my reach is. I have no idea. But doing the song with Fable will help me bump my numbers up. And if my monthly listeners are 50 grand, like, I can't even imagine. Like, I don't know what my reach is like. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I make songs about, you know, guns and being the best rapper and all these different kinds of things. But I'm the nice one. Like, I'm the super nice one. Like, I'll have a conversation about anything, like,
yeah.
And, you know, there's no limit. So I think people need to focus on who they are as people. If they want to make music, you got to focus on who you are as a person, and know who you are first. Absolutely. And know what you're good at and what makes you happy, and that will make it easier for you to convey emotion and convey a message in your songs
that you're trying to.
Yeah, facts.
Those are gems. Those are gems by Mick.
Dropping bars. No, I think that's a really good point to move on to the just question. We got questions from the fam. I should have did this earlier because I wanted to have more, but we could do this and kind of close out. Let's see. You might have to read them down. You know how my eyes are, bruh.
Well, he already asked he answered the hashtag working on his verse has it.
Yeah, he said next week. Mix, you said next week.
No, he you answered the how to manage the work life balance. That was his real question.
Yeah.
McGuire said he had a question and forgot.
McGuire had a question and forgot. Let's see. Disaster.
14,
Shouts out Disaster.
14, yeah.
14. So we got to just quickly, would you ever go by Fix Williams or Six Williams? Your answer was...
Oh, shit. Oh, I saw that. If Shizzy was on the...
If Shizzy was on the podcast, would it be Six Williams?
Yeah.
Or if
I get to meet him. I told him I was going to arm wrestle him because he thinks I'm fat. But
Really?
yeah.
Everybody
like,
be
I think
thinking
it's
like
dope.
you're different than you are.
Yeah, like think
man.
you
Bro,
short.
oh,
They think
man,
you're
so
short.
all right, let me talk about this real quick. Right, I'm not
Get off your
short.
chest. Get off your chest.
How tall
not-
are you? How
I
tall
thought
are
you were
I'm
4'11" by
5'10".
everybody else.
Okay. That's
I'm
above
5'10".
average. That's above average.
It's above average, and
I gotta say it because I'm 5'9". Hey, I'm on your
5'10".
side.
I wear Tim's a lot, but it's because of a style choice. It's not like I'm trying to make myself taller. That's not what it is.
No.
I'll wear Crocs too. Like, I don't care. But I'm 5'10".
All right.
There was when I did the video with Game Boy Jones and Dizzy. They said that my bun was like. They said that I put my bun on top.
You were counting your bun.
Yeah, like no, it was because I didn't have a haircut.
He was standing on
and
his
my
tippy
hair and the
toes.
fried flyaways. Like people were like taking pictures that like. I was like at chest height with people. And they were like, "Oh, they cut out the bottom, and it's because the other person's like squatting."
Hilarious.
Oh
That's not
my
what it
god,
is.
that's hilarious.
And then I was so happy that Game Boy like recorded. So Game Boy picked me up from the airport, and he recorded the moment. I had never met Dizzy in person before, but I had known him for however long. He came over and he like, dapped me up, gave me a hug, and then we was walking to the car together. And I came out. You couldn't see my legs, and then I came out from like behind this like barrier, and I wasn't squatting.
You're like,
You're like, hey, check tape.
See, everybody, look at this, and it got 20 likes because nobody cared because I showed evidence. But every meme, oh, Mix is short. Sailor Your Love comes out. Oh, Mix is so short.
Dang,
and then I post a picture of my girl, and she's holding the stick with my face on it, and they're like, oh, they made it life size. Like, no, dog. Like, she's 4'11", bro. She makes me look like a giant.
Where did that come from? Why did everybody say you were short?
Because Sailor Your Love one time said that she tweeted like, oh, if you're not 6 foot, you're short. Right. She tweeted like, oh, I only date guys that are 6 feet because I don't date short guys or something like
one
that.
of these fresh and fit girls. No, just kidding.
so then I quote tweeted it and I was like, 5'10's not short. And then she went on like a whole thing like, oh, I'm so sorry that you're
short.
I'm so sorry that you're like a pipsqueak. That's so cute. Oh, I'll try not to step on you. Like that, like, and she's got like minions, right? So then they all just started jumping on it, and then it became bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
You're like, I should have never quoted that tweet.
I should have said
like, and then Game Boy like quoted it, and Game Boy started. He was like on a meme thing where like he started like,
of course, Game Boy
posted like he posted like his face on my dad's face and like a face.
Oh, I do remember that. I do remember that.
Yeah. And so people were like, oh, like, I thought you were Dizzy's kid. And then, like, oh, and you're so short. And, like, it all makes sense now. So now I'm just the short guy. I'm 5'10", 240. Like,
he's waiting for the Mix Williams short arc to be over.
Oh, my God. It's so, I mean, look, it's interaction. At the end of the day, it's interaction on Twitter. You know
True.
So
And it's fun.
I posted like, I want to drop music, but you guys all called me short and destroyed my confidence. And everyone
you gotta
quote
lean
tweeted,
into it.
retweeting it.
Yeah.
You just
if you
gotta
can't
jump
make
head
fun of
first
yourself,
into it.
man, you know what I mean. You ain't gonna make it far. I think the next one was actually for Daniel. Oh yeah. So why did Daniel abandoned Discord, making me do all the work? What's up? You got anything to say about that?
Listen. So this is gonna
inactive.
sound.
I got the baby and you're inactive.
Listen, I use our actual Red Moon one, but like I don't remember my password and I have no way to reset it, so I can't get on my.
No more excuses.
What do you mean?
So
this guy.
We use LastPass. So we created an email through. We were trying to create our website, and it was like at redmoon.com, whatever. And I have no access to that email to do the reset. And we go to Discord and I hit like reset password and wants to send it to that email address. I think Michael Sean, our brother, can do it.
Because he never set up his LastPass.
That might be true too.
Tell him.
That might be true too.
But why? But can't you just reset the password on the email?
The issue is that reset password email goes to another email that I don't have access to.
That he doesn't.
But I don't have access. That's the one Michael Sean has access to. That's why he's got to do it. That's why I haven't.
He can give it to you. Weren't you just in your Discord?
Oh, I have it on my computer.
Oh, okay.
I have it on the
you should have been active.
So then can't you? Yeah. So then can't you? But if you have it on the computer, can't you like?
It does.
Let
It wants
yourself get active on the phone.
That's what I tried, but it only wants to send a reset password to that email address.
We're boomers, bro. We're boomers.
Yo,
but you don't need a
millennials.
reset password. You could just go. You can go like if you go to settings or whatever, and then you can click like regular Discord settings. You can go like log in on your phone. Like there's like an option, and then you just scan like a QR.
Do you know that, Jerry?
Like that.
Of course I did.
He didn't know that. You might have just. There you go, chat. I mean, that's.
Yeah, we'll clip that, and then you can figure stuff out.
He just made it work for me because I did not know that.
Yeah,
so.
I think that's how.
My goodness!
That's how when you update Discord on your phone, sometimes it logs you out. So
I have
you have a QR code on here.
See,
scan it.
Exactly. See, man.
Maybe we are boomers. Maybe we are boomers.
I hope not, because I'm not that much younger than you. So I hope not.
Luther with the best questions. His second one was, how does it feel to be 72 and a new dad? Oh yeah, boomer jokes. If you aren't 72, why did you lie to your audience? We always play the old card. We got it. That's the thing we have in Nerdcore.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
We could be the old guys.
What else?
Mix is like, don't say that.
He's catching up.
No, it hurts.
How did this idea turn? Oh yeah, this is going. We actually wanted to talk. We saved it to talk about it here. So yes. Everybody wants to know about the intro. And wants to hear about it a little bit. And
so first off, to this day, I will say to this day. No, I will say that we still get asked, where can I find the song that is for your intro?
Yeah.
And we're like, it's for the intro. It's just for the intro.
You know how many times we talked about, maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll think about do it for, we'll pay, Mix and a couple other artists to do an actual song to that. Cause that would be dope. Do it for like our 10K. You know what I mean, or something like that.
Yeah, I still have the stems for it, so I can go back and work on it.
Okay.
People,
we might hit you up.
People love.
Let us know in the comments if we should hit Mix.
They want to know, how did you come along with that idea and that type of stuff
just the process. I mean,
you guys hit me up. I mean, if I maybe
no, I think,
said it because like
you hit us up. Y'all want an intro?
I had an intro. So there was a time where I did like an outro song for one of my favorite YouTubers, Bengal.
Oh, nice.
And that was the song Ben Bones. So Ben Bones is on my Spotify, and it was about a character. I guess it's kind of a nerdcore song, I guess, because it's about a fictional character that Bengal made in like the Madden series.
Oh, nice.
And he named the character, or he drafted some character named Ben Bones, who was supposed to be like Bo Jackson, and he ended up using him in like a couple of different games, and it was like a thing. He had like Ben Bones merch and stuff like that. So
that's cool.
I was in his Twitch chat once, and I was just like, I could make a Ben Bones song for you if you want. And he was like, yeah, go for it, bro. And I went and I did it, and then I sent it to him, and he was like, hey, I'm gonna play it on stream, and if like the chat doesn't like it, like they're gonna roast you, and if they do like it, then like I'll use it as the outro if I like it, and I'll give you mod in chat or something like that.
Yeah.
And he liked it, and everyone was like super surprised because like everybody's a rapper, so like,
right.
Actually hear somebody that's good, they're like, oh shit, like this is actually really good. So then a couple of other YouTubers hit me up to do like little songs here and there, and I pick and chose who I wanted to do, and then I was like, oh, like this could be like a cool little like
thing to do on the side,
like not offer my services, but like I could kind of just say, hey, do you guys want an intro, because I can do something.
And it's cool. Huge. It gets your name out there. People hear it before every video. So
and that Ben Bones song ended up doing pretty well, and so I said to you guys if you wanted me to do one, I think, and took a little while, but I famously take a little while.
It's all good, man. Hey, it turned out. There was a time, actually you said it to me, because there was a time I was like, man, we're just gonna edit a video and throw it together, because we were having a hard time finding somebody to piece it together for the intro like video, and you were like, nah, let's make it epic, and I was like, all right, let's take the time, you know what I mean? So it turned out good.
No, yeah, and we still.
Oh, he just sent me the final one, by the way, so I'll show you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean that's
my wife uses it as her ringtone.
Yeah, all the time, man. People just I don't ever skip it.
No, I don't either. It's fire.
Because you watch your own stuff over and over, and I go back and watch the reactions, see how we did, like was the energy there and stuff like that, and I never skip it. You know what I mean? Like it's fire, bro. It's fire.
It's quick enough. It's like you guys.
It's a perfect length.
It. Yeah, it's 15, 20 seconds, like not even 17 seconds.
Yeah, like 15 seconds.
Yeah. It's edited well, like with the laid back.
Yeah,
like it's
Homeboy killed it. Yeah, I mean, it turned out like so. First off, thanks for that, man. Yes. We appreciate it. That was huge for us. I mean, that was one of the first times, or not first times, but Mix has always been cool for people listening, like hitting us up for the intro. You know what I mean? Like one of the first artists to hit us up, like just in comments and stuff like that. So we've been going back and forth. Really good guy. But yeah, I think that was that it? Or did I miss something?
No, we'll laugh. How did you become so good?
Yeah, that was kind of. I was like a super open question.
Practice.
Yeah, practice. There you go.
Practice. We talking practice.
Yeah.
Practice makes perfect,
Yeah.
but there is no such thing as perfect. That's kind of how you have to do it. If you
gotta
want
do it over and over.
anything, yeah, like there's no you have to know what kind of artist you want to be. I mean, I said before, you kind of got to know what kind of person you want to be before you can, you gotta be comfortable with yourself before you can be comfortable making music.
Yeah.
Because when you're making music, you're an amplified version of yourself.
Right.
So, if you're not comfortable with who you are right now, then when you're amplifying it, you're not going to sound confident there. So, you gotta be humble. You gotta work hard, and you gotta ask for help when you don't know something. That's part of the humility.
Bet. And then thoughts on Adam 22. I think that was good, Charles. I was like, that's kind of outside of our wheelhouse, but let's do it. I was like, I don't know if we're going to get into all that.
Hey, look, honestly, without getting too deep into it, no pun intended. There's, I'm not gonna kink shame nobody. I'm not gonna yuck nobody's yum. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do, and broadcast it. We live in a weird fucking time, bro. We live in a weird time where like we're seeing people's most intimate,
it's
so crazy.
I always wonder what is this like. I guess I can kind of get it, but like this obsession of just being like completely transparent on podcasts.
It's okay to
just
keep
like,
stuff. It's okay to keep stuff to yourself.
And
it's
I
fine.
get it. Like it's entertaining. I get it, but it must be addicting somehow to the person, that type of personality. Because I'm like, that's too much information.
There's got to be some sort of. I'm sure they get a rush, off of people. I mean, because if this is their thing.
Mm-hmm.
If this is their kink, right? They have a rush of somebody else being involved in their intimacy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so if they start broadcasting it to a huge audience,
that rush has got to be crazy.
That rush is they're probably feeling that thing. So like, it is crazy that we get we get to see that we are, there's an opportunity for us to see into people's most intimate, parts of their lives.
Yeah.
But
I
don't know
it ain't for. I mean, I couldn't do it, but it's like
what Kevin Hart say. You do you, boo boo.
Do you, boo? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's literally. I mean, I'm not gonna yuck nobody's yum.
Yeah,
that's
enjoy. It's your life at the end of the day. Like, enjoy what you're gonna do.
And then the last one was, we'll just. I don't think we're going to go over this one. It's too long, but we'll save it from the next podcast or something like that. But they want to Tricks. We didn't shout anybody out on these. Tricks want us to replace all Avengers with anime characters. We'll do that on the next podcast.
Yeah, we'll do that on the next one.
And then
that's a long conversation.
Man, besides that, man, closing out, like, you have anything you're promoting? How you think the conversation went? Is there anything you recommend or anyone you would recommend to come on, or what something you'd like to see in the podcast? In this nerdcore realm,
I think the highest that you guys should go, like the highest that you guys can go, you should go. Like if you can get people with more experience than me, people with more people who do this for a living, because I can't offer that that perspective. But I'm privy to that perspective because I've kind of had a peek behind the curtain with the friends that I've made, so I'm very, very grateful for that.
Yeah.
The ins and outs of how things get done quickly, or people who deal with copyright issues, which I don't necessarily all the time. That kind of thing can be interesting for people because I don't have that insight.
Okay.
I'm sure if you hit Dizzy up, he'd be ready to do it. If you hit the Fables of DPSs might be too busy because they do work really, really hard, but they'll probably make time at some point, to do it.
Oh, that's right, because I tried to get dirt on you from Dizzy. I hit up because we were supposed to DPS was supposed to be on this one as well, but he's just too busy. But I was trying to get dirt on you, and all he said was like, "Man, y'all should have did this with me and Mix." I was like, and then said nothing else. I was like, all right, fair enough.
You guys ask him for dirt during the podcast, and he'll still.
Yeah, we will. All right, then you got to
But,
get him with one. You got to get any funny Dizzy story.
So the song that I did the finish my song contest that like he discovered me for, like he was upset that Samad had found me before, because like in the video's still on his channel now, like I'm in the thumbnail and he's wearing his little fucking beanie and he says, he's like, I found a gem, bro, I found a gem, bro, he's so good. Like, and then he's scrolling through my Twitter and he's like looking at all these videos and like mad into like, because he had never heard me before. And then I finished the song. I shot a music video for it. He shot his music video for it. And then the song never came out because he said I killed him on the song.
Oh,
so
dang.
It wasn't one of those home advantage things. I had heard his verse already, but like I just did the challenge the best I could, and he won't put the song out.
Dizzy, what's up?
I have it.
Dizzy, what's up?
Dizzy's like, it got lost. My computer had messed
something
up.
happened. Crazy. We never got the AMV back. That's crazy. That's crazy. If you ask him for dirt, he'll definitely give it to you. But I have the Chase is coming out on Saturday. That
Okay.
will be the 22nd. Is it the 22nd? I think so.
I think so.
Man, maybe it's the 23rd. Nope, the 22nd.
Yeah.
So Reese Lett did the AMV for that one.
Shout out to Reese.
It is Spider-Man AMV, and it's one that it's the first time I've ever like pushed back a release because I wasn't happy with how it sounded.
Oh wow.
So I felt bad because like I was gone for so long. And I pushed it back like 3 weeks. But
I mean, there was a month there. You did like 3 songs.
Yeah. Quality over quantity.
I found like I remember it was like Gold Standard and like the one and whatever. But I also posted them with like static images and stuff. I got to start doing lyric videos and things like that. Maybe not on my own, but like utilizing the resources I have available to me.
So this one's gonna be a full video or
the Chase?
It's
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah, sorry.
So the Chase Saturday the 22nd.
That's right.
We'll be on that.
Yeah, we'll be on that. We'll be reacting to that for sure. Yeah, man. Honestly, bro, like we appreciate you. My kid has been killing me. I was exhausted. I didn't know how I'd get through this, but like you made it interesting, man. I was like in there the whole time. So yeah, appreciate you, man. We'll have to have you on again. Maybe when Dizzy comes on, you guys can go at it. You know what I mean? Like that'd be fun to see. Anything else, Daniel?
No, man. Yeah, just that you dropped some good gems, good conversation, which we knew would happen. You always seem like a genuine person. So, I mean, we're excited for it. And again, we always excited for the music too. So, can't wait for that.
We hope nothing but the best for your career,
more.
bro. Yeah.
I'm gonna do more. I promise. I got no excuse.
Well, dude, we'll probably do a little closing out here, but get some sleep. We hope the best for you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right, man.
All right, man.
See
Later.
you.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, that went good, man.
Yeah, go.
Mix is a cool guy.
Yeah, go show Mix some love.
You know what I'm saying? Honestly, yeah, I was so tired at the beginning of this, and I was like, I gotta try to have some energy. You know, I was drinking coffee before, but like that was just a good, fun conversation.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
And yeah, man, I'm excited to see where he goes, bro.
What music do you like a mix? Put your favorite verses down in the bottom.
Verses.
Your favorite
Go show 'em
songs with them.
love.
Go show them some love. And yeah,
Run it
thanks for kicking with you. We love you guys.
We out.
Peace.